The State Auditor's Microscope. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. KMOX has been telling you about the park next door where drug activity has significantly increased in recent months. Coming up, I'll tell you what the city is doing about it.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. We're turning out cloudy today with a couple of afternoon showers and a high of 76.
I'm Joe Pott. The Cardinals continue a homestand tonight at Busch Stadium, and the Stiefel Charity Classic tees off in St. Louis. Details on both coming up in sports.
And Democrats and Republicans alike jousted with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over vaccines and other issues at Thursday's contentious Senate hearing.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The White House is defending Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy's appearance on Capitol Hill yesterday and an explosive back and forth with lawmakers in the Senate over ousters and resignations at the CDC and vaccine policy. Kennedy faced criticism from both sides of the aisle. Democrat Michael Bennett.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership.
Republican John Barrasso.
I'm a doctor. Vaccines work. Secretary Kennedy, in your confirmation hearings, you promised to uphold the highest standards for vaccines. Since then, I've grown deeply concerned.
Kennedy fired and replaced all 17 members of a key CDC vaccine advisory panel, which is set to meet later this month to discuss vaccine recommendations. The government will release a new monthly jobs report next hour, and it'll be the first since the president fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, claiming previous numbers were rigged. What to expect in today's report? CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
There is some concern that the market's really slowing down because the average time that people are unemployed, it's actually increasing. And the number of people who have been out of work for more than 6 months, that's gone up.
Colleges are losing a tool they've used to find bright, low-income students.
It's a dashboard called Landscape, offered by the College Board, which administers the SAT. Admission officers enter an applicant's address and get information about their community, its median family income, its crime rate, and so on. Many colleges began using it 2 years ago after the Supreme Court banned affirmative action in college admissions. The College Board hasn't said why it's eliminating Landscape, but the move comes just weeks after the White House said it was looking for schools that use hidden racial proxies to seek out minority students. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Police in Portugal say 11 of the 16 people killed in a streetcar derailment this week were foreigners, among them one American. Investigators are expected to issue a preliminary report on the crash today. Speculation on the cause has centered on the possibility of a broken cable or a faulty brake. When you eat your meals may help you live longer. CBS's Michael George explains.
A study out of Turkey showed as people get older, they tend to eat breakfast later, and a later breakfast time was associated with depression, fatigue, and even higher rates of death. The impact was especially significant for older people. Researchers say this adds new meaning to the saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
It is 6:03, and you are listening to Total Information AM. We have clear skies and 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. The news sponsored by St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. Missourians testified yesterday to denounce a plan to redraw the state's congressional districts, but Republican lawmakers pressed ahead with President Trump's strategy to bolster Republicans in next year's congressional elections. Representative Mark Sharp, a Democrat from Kansas City, questioned why there's a call for redistricting now when it usually only happens at the census, not the midterms. He also says he's angry the governor's proposed map would split Kansas City between multiple congressional districts. Sharp got into it with GOP Representative Dirk Deaton.
Why not wait? We have another census coming up in a few years. Why rush it through now?
Well, I mean, most specifically, I think it kind of, in a way, goes without saying, but I'll say it, is that the governor called us here, and it's his prerogative.
Taxpayer dollars are under the microscope in Webster Groves.
The Missouri State Auditor's Office has launched an initial review into spending by two former city officials who resigned last year. The probe was sparked by constituent complaints alleging improper use of city credit cards, questionable salary payouts, and travel expenses that may have been personal. While city leadership denies any wrongdoing and tells the Post-Dispatch that it is complying with the request for records, auditors tell the paper they'll determine if they need to get into a full investigation. The financial review is happening at the same time that Webster Groves is responding to a separate inquiry from the state attorney general's office concerning its diversity policies and the decision to fly a pride flag. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Boeing says it's hiring permanent replacement manufacturing workers in St. Louis.
The move follows a month-long strike by union machinists and contract negotiations falling apart. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley tells Missouri Net Boeing needs to do right by its workers.
Management here needs to suck it up and get this thing over with. Give the workers what they deserve. Rebuild that company. That company is so important to our state, the jobs that it provides, the great things that it produces. What we've got to have a strong Boeing that begins with strong workers.
The aerospace maker says the contract offered to union machinists is the best one the company has ever offered and cites the union initially praising the offer as a landmark deal. A statement from the union says workers on strike want fair pay increases, faster wage progression, and an increased ratification bonus. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
Missouri's 19 prisons have added a variety of measures to stop the flow of illegal items from getting in, like scanners, but not all workers are required to go through the scanners. During a Missouri Legislative Task Force hearing on Wednesday, St. Louis State Rep. Kimberly Ann Collins said she wants the prisons to change this policy.
I sat there for 2 hours in Vandalia and watched not a staff member go through those body scanners. Why is that not happening if the General Assembly appropriated the funds for those body scanners?
State Department of Corrections liaison Taylor Hagenhoff said employees are randomly selected to go through scanners due to radiation concerns.
Mayor Kara Spencer announces a new effort to fight a growing drug market.
Mayor Spencer says the city will be shutting down the park between Soldiers Memorial and the public library, which KMOX has reported has turned increasingly into an open-air drug market in recent months.
We're going to be closing it temporarily from September 8th to the 14th to clean it and to make sure that we have appropriate resources for folks who've been spending time there.
KMOX reported last month over 350 calls for service were made to that park from May through August. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Pew Research Center is out with the results of a new study of religious nuns, not Catholic sisters. It's NONES, those who consider themselves agnostic, atheistic, or religiously unaffiliated.
The Pew Research Center focused on the religiously unaffiliated in 22 countries and found them to be a bit more spiritual than was assumed.
In all 22 countries, about a fifth or more believe in life after death. We also find that significant shares believe around the world that animals can have spirits or spiritual energy.
60% of America's religiously unaffiliated believe animals can have spirits or spiritual energies, while 57% say there's something spiritual beyond the natural world, even if we cannot see it. 45% of American religious nuns believe in God. Overall, 29% of Americans say they fit into that religious nuns category or the religiously unaffiliated. 5% are atheist, 6% are agnostics, and 19% say they are nothing in particular. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's 6:08. We'll get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-506-3355. 800-506-3355. 800-506-3355.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 6:10, and we should update you on this Friday morning on traffic and weather. The weather this weekend should be really nice. We'll get the details on that after we check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, everything's looking good out there so far this morning, Debbie. It's a pretty quiet Friday morning. Just taking a look at 70 at Lucas Hunt. As you heard Joe Pott mention, today is day one of the senior PGA event at Norwood Hills Country Club. So the first group, I think you said, tees off a little bit after 9, but some folks get there early. I see cars getting off at Lucas Hunt, but there's certainly no backup there. And Lucas Hunt itself looks okay headed over to Norwood Hills, but we'll try to sort of keep a tab on that as things go along this morning. It looks like we have a little bit of a delay, some road work going on, I'm sure, westbound to 64, Lake St. Louis Boulevard headed to Prospect. It is westbound, not eastbound. The rest of the work zones look good for you out there so far this morning. I don't see any other issues. Don't forget, Pershall Road is closed between Hanley Road and Hazelwood Avenue now through 5 this evening. They're pouring concrete on that 170 overpass above it. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather now sponsored by Dave Sinclair Lincoln St. Peter's.
Today will be turning out cloudy. We'll also have a couple of showers in the afternoon with the best chance south of the city, high 76. Clouds break tonight. It'll be cooler with a low of 54. Then we turn out sunny and nice with a high of 79 tomorrow. A cool day in store for Sunday. Sunshine with a high of 75. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have 60 degrees both in Florissant and St. Peter's. Clear skies 61 downtown at the Arch. Dave Sinclair Lincoln St. Peter's hosting free prostate screenings with Urology of St. Louis. Walk into Dave Sinclair Lincoln St. Peter's September 10th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. for a blood draw. Remember, that's Wednesday, September 10th, 4 to 6:30 at Dave Sinclair Lincoln St. Peter's.
We'll preview the Stiefel Charity Classic. That's coming up this weekend, and that's coming up in sports.
It is now 6:12. Tornado-damaged areas are getting a $12 million infusion of cash from interest earned off the Rams relocation settlement. Mayor Kara Spencer says this funding will focus on moving out debris.
The city has contracted Looks Great Services to carry out the public right-of-way, street curb, alley debris removal starting this week.
Spencer says a large chunk of the funding will also go to help victims with temporary or intermediate housing costs.
The latest snapshot of the regional economy shows residential real estate markets are slow. One segment of commercial construction is gaining ground.
The place that we are seeing continued activity in construction is on data centers. So that's really driven by this demand for AI. So that's driving the demand in commercial real estate.
Chuck Gaskin, senior economist in the research division at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. On the flip side, businesses are turning to artificial intelligence to save on labor costs.
Tourism money used for NASCAR in the Metro East is paying off.
This is Stuart McMillan. While the NASCAR race in Chicago is speeding to San Diego next year, the St. Louis region continues to see an economic boost from its own Cup Series race at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Enjoy Illinois 300 has been bringing in visitors who spend money, a reported $60 million. The state has spent about $2.2 million to sponsor the race since 2022. That's including close to $800,000 for this year's race alone.
Yet another eatery will be leaving City Garden in downtown St. Louis. Burger 809 will close in December. It replaced Caldi's Coffee, but the space has also housed Joe's Chili Bowl, Death in the Afternoon, and Terrace View. The Gateway Foundation that operates City Garden tells the Post-Dispatch next year a new concept will open in the space and it will be managed internally. Burger 809 owner Tasha Smith says she'd planned to be in that location for years to come and was given vague notification of her deal being terminated. Gateway Foundation disputes that, saying the contract was terminated only after repeated efforts to resolve issues.
Tariffs taking a bite out of the bottom line for Caleres. The Clayton-based shoe company says sales are down about 3% compared to last year, and they're seeing price increases from their vendors that will get passed along in the form of higher prices in the store. Caleres told investors tariffs contributed to about $10 million of lost sales due to cancellations and delayed shipments, but it's unclear yet how much consumers will pull back on buying shoes because of higher prices on the shelves.
It's now 6:15.
The PGA Champions Tour is back in St. Louis this weekend, and Dan Reardon has us covered.
It's the 5th year of senior PGA golf in St. Louis this morning at Norwood Hills Country Club. The tournament, which faced an uncertain future as the Ascension Charity Classic a year ago, now enjoys an exciting future as the Stiefel Charity Classic. The PGA Tour announced earlier this week the tournament moves on the calendar next year to October as the first leg of the Charles Schwab Cup playoffs, giving St. Louis playoff events from both the PGA Tour and the Senior Tour in 2026. PGA Tour major winners dot the groups, with Open champion Stuart Sink, multiple major winner Ernie Els, and former Masters and U.S. Open champion Angel Cabrera in the top 5 in the current tour standings. First group's off at 1 and 10 at 9:10 this morning. Covering the Stiefel Charity Classic, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
Well, the Cardinals continue their homestand tonight at Busch Stadium. Cards are coming off a series win against the Athletics after a 5-1 win Wednesday night, where Wilson Contreras drove in 4 of the 5 runs, including 2 on an 8th-inning triple.
Facing Contreras, a 3-1 pitch coming up, and that's hit towards left field, looping, and it gets by the left fielder, and it's going to go to the warning track. 1 run scores, here comes another, and Contreras is headed to third, and he's going to make it safely. 2 Cardinal runs, 2 big insurance runs here in the 8th inning, and the Cardinals now lead 5-1.
That's your call of the game. It's sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Cards start the weekend 70 and 71, a half game back of the Reds for 3rd in the National League Central. They're 5.5 games out of the wild card race, trailing the Giants and Reds. They're tied with the Diamondbacks. Michael McGreevy, who has been strong since assuming a regular spot in the Cards rotation in June, will make his 12th start of the year tonight. He is 6-2 with a 4.17 earned run average overall, and he's coming off an outstanding August. In 6 starts in the month, the right-hander was 4-0 with a 3.5 ERA. He worked 6 innings in all 6 starts and boasts a 21-6 strikeout-to-walk ratio in the month. Tonight marks McGreevy's 2nd career start against the Giants. He tossed arguably the best game of his career last year when he faced the Giants in San Fran, throwing a career-high 8 innings. He allowed just a single run on 5 hits. He struck out 6 and didn't walk a batter in the start. Carson Seymour will start for the Giants. Seymour made his Major League debut in June, and he makes just his 2nd Major League start tonight. He is 0-2 with a 4.74 earned run average. First pitch is set for 7:15. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 6:20 tonight. Next sports update is 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. The Saliga family's been taking great care of St. Louis since 1927 and still have the best and most trustworthy customer service in town. Saliga can handle all of your heating and air conditioning needs for home or business. They offer free estimates and financing options, and they won't leave you hanging if there's an emergency. The Miklas family's been calling on Saliga for more than 15 years, and we fully appreciate their knowledge, their class, and their integrity. Saliga's never tried to pressure us. They always take the time to discuss all the available options, including low-cost solutions. Saliga has saved us good money with their Priority Club maintenance program, which extends the life of our equipment. Members receive priority service and the peace of mind in knowing their home will be safe and comfortable during all 4 seasons. The Miklas family truly values Saliga Heating and Cooling, and you will too. For more information, call Saliga at 314-481-6100 7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine, and you could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's now 6:20. Let's see how things are moving out there for you. Roger Brand has the latest on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look great so far, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. We had some slow traffic 10 minutes ago, westbound 64, west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through Prospect, moving operation, picking up road work, I guess. So it looks fine through there now, both directions, actually. No delays coming up on 55 at 67. Through McNutt, north of Bayless, things still look great. 270 both directions at Ladue, no problem. Don't forget, we have Herschel Road currently closed between Hanley Road and Hazelwood Avenue, right underneath that 170 overpass. They're pouring concrete on that overpass, eastbound 270 to southbound 170 today till about 5 p.m. this evening. So it's going to be closed for the bulk of the day. Otherwise, like I said, the highways are in great shape for you right now. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelley, man, JerryKelley.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelley.com.
Shouldn't have anything stopping you if you've got outdoor weekend plans, but today you might see a couple of showers in the afternoon. Otherwise, just a cloudy day with a high of 76, 79 and sunny tomorrow, 75 with sunshine on Sunday. Right now, it's 59 degrees.
The news continues at 6:22. The White House defending Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. this morning after yesterday's contentious hearing on Capitol Hill.
In the hot seat, Kennedy faced criticism from both sides of the aisle over recent changes to vaccine policy and a spate of firings and resignations at the CDC. We get more from CBS's Jared Hill.
President Trump is defending Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I like the fact that he's different.
After a combative Senate hearing.
You're making things up to scare people, and it's a lie. With respect, I do not think I'm the one making people.
Kennedy, who's questioned the efficacy of vaccines and elevated unsupported claims about their alleged harms, drew fire from even staunch Trump allies over recent cuts to vaccine research and access to the COVID-19 vaccine. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy is a physician.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
You're wrong.
It was Kennedy's first appearance on Capitol Hill since he pushed out former CDC Director Susan Menares last week, sparking a number of resignations.
The August jobs report set for release later this morning. Mark Hamrick, senior economic analyst at Bankrate, tells CBS News why the data has not been as positive as the Trump administration was hoping for.
The big change that we've seen over the past year is that both legal and illegal immigration has come to a crawl, and that means that it takes fewer hires in this economy to keep the unemployment rate stable. You might say that is the saving grace of the moment. The other problem, however, is we're not getting the sort of upward lift to economic activity, including consumer spending, that we would have seen a couple of years ago.
Colleges losing a tool they've used to find bright, low-income students.
It's a dashboard called Landscape, offered by the College Board, which administers the SAT. Admission officers enter an applicant's address and get information about their community, its median family income, its crime rate, and so on. Many colleges began using it 2 years ago after the Supreme Court banned affirmative action in college admissions. The College Board hasn't said why it's eliminating Landscape, But the move comes just weeks after the White House said it was looking for schools that use hidden racial proxies to seek out minority students. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Boeing ups the stakes in the St. Louis strike. With negotiations stalled after a full month, the company announces it's no longer waiting and will begin hiring permanent replacements for the 3,200 union members on the picket line. The replacement employees, Boeing says, will get the same training and certifications those union workers underwent.
A St. Louis man admits he ran an online chat group that shared child sex abuse images. 37-year-old David Court Dawes was arrested thanks to tips to a national cyber tip line. Dawes admitted using the messaging app Kip. He faces up to 20 years in prison.
The Maryville pastor shooter is denied transfer to a non-secure treatment facility. A judge denied Terry Sedlicek's request to leave Alton Mental Health Center. He was also denied supervised off-ground outings. You may remember Sedlicek opened fire on a church back in 2009. He fired and killed Pastor Fred Winters. Church members took him down when his gun locked.
Construction crews working near the corner of Clarkson Pines Lane and Clarkson Drive in Ellisville struck a gas line, causing a leak yesterday morning. Sergeant George Corliss with the Ellisville Police Department.
Buildings were evacuated as a precaution, but there's no danger to the public right now.
A new study from Rutgers University and published in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition recommends moms who are pumping and storing breast milk label the time of each session. Melissa Wortman, a microbiome scientist at Rutgers University, explains why.
If that morning milk is pumped and it's given to the infant at nighttime, it's kind of a mismatch of these cues in the breast milk. If it's something that continuously happens, it's possible that it might disrupt the natural cues that are being given.
A new report has alarming statistics when it comes to high blood pressure and its link to kidney disease. CBS News correspondent Matt Piper reports on a new analysis of CDC data.
Doctors say high blood pressure is a known risk factor for kidney damage, and death from it has risen nearly 50% in just 25 years.
The main reason, just as simple as people not being identified early as having high blood pressure and not being treated effectively.
Dr. Joyvan Nyonbella with the Henry Ford Rochester Hospital in Michigan.
Black individuals having more than 3 times the rates of all other races combined. And this was like consistent whether they had kidney failure or not.
Matt Piper, CBS News.
It's now 6:26. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision. This is the Create Great Jobs vision. This is the We Need More Space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future, because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007 now.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different.
Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Looking for a place to call home without all the maintenance? Check out the Towns of Linneman Park, new townhomes by Lombardo, located in St. Peters. These new construction townhomes are located on the south side of 36494, east of Harvester Road, and offer floor plans featuring 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a loft, and 2-car attached garages. Community amenities include a clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, dog park, and walking trails. Tour our newly decorated display and fall in love with your new townhome. Visit lombardohomes.com for more information.
Today, the Cards, the Giants. Cameron Total Access 520. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:30 and time for the news. It's currently clear and 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. We'll check the forecast in a moment. First, let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still not bad out there. A little bit of volume, but it's all in all pretty good shape. Friday mornings tend to be light, and it's looking that way right now. There's just a little busy traffic, it looks like, in the right lanes coming through the Mattis overpass on northbound 55, but it's still rolling. Bayless up to River to Pear, northbound 270 from 55 through Gravois. Just a little slow approaching the work zone at Ladue at the north end. There's southbound coming down through Ladue looks fine so far. Southbound 61 looks fine coming down onto 64 or 70 eastbound coming out of Wentzville. No issues through there. Seeing a little bit of volume eastbound 30 from Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270. Again, just a slowdown, not a jam. Things still look okay on 70 at Lucas Hunt, getting off, and anybody might be headed over to Norwood Hills for the PGA, senior PGA event today. Everything's fine there right now. A little bit of a slowdown on the Illinois side, westbound 64, 3rd Street, midway into Route 3. We had a minor crash reported in the area. It looks like it's probably on the shoulder, but it is a little busy at that point as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There may be a little rain in the forecast for you this afternoon. Otherwise, just a cloudy day with a high of 76. And then tomorrow, sunny and 79. It's 59 degrees right now.
Spire has received approval to raise rates on natural gas customers by around 10%. Why do they need to raise them? Director of Regulatory Affairs David Yancey tells KMOX they're continually making repairs, and the cost of those repairs are rising.
We're seeing that across the board, as we're seeing with everything in the economy right now. And so, yeah, inflation does have an impact on, on the cost of the infrastructure upgrades that we're making.
He says tariffs aren't a direct factor in rising costs, saying many of the materials are made in the United States.
Now that St. Louis Boeing union workers have been on strike for a month, the aerospace manufacturer is moving to the next step in its contingency plan, hiring permanent replacement manufacturing workers. Senator Josh Hawley tells MissouriNet he is backing the union workers.
I mean, these people have strip mined that company. The C-suite is doing great over at Boeing. Their workers are the ones who've been getting the shaft. The problem is the workers are the ones who make the plane. So if you want anything to work, it's got to be the good people who are on the line, the engineers, the designers. They're the ones who Boeing needs to do right by, and they haven't.
According to Boeing General Manager Dan Gillian, the union continues to demand more of everything while also saying it has no control over what it will take to end the strike, driving the parties further apart. Union President Tom Bowling says the workers it is representing are fighting for fair pay increases, faster wage progression, and an increased ratification bonus.
Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers no longer locally owned. According to the Business Journal, Thompson Street Capital Partners has sold the Wichita-based eatery to a New York-based private equity firm. Freddy's was founded in Wichita in 2002. One of its founders, Scott Redler, is a St. Louis native. There are 17 Freddy's locations in the St. Louis region, more than 550 across the U.S. and Canada.
A popular South City sandwich shop has reopened in a new space after a sibling dispute shut them down. Mom's Deli, which for years had been operating on Jamison Avenue in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood, is now operating on Hampton in St. Louis Hills. Mom's Deli opened in 1977, but shut down in February after a lawsuit between siblings, the grandchildren of the deli's founder, resulted in eviction.
This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34.
It's Tom Ackerman. At St. Louis Composting, they transform organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost through a 6-month static composting process. As the largest and most trusted compost provider in the St. Louis area, they are committed to producing only the best. Enjoy your outdoor space this spring with vegetable gardens and fresh landscaping. And with St. Louis Composting, you can order online for delivery or pickup premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of their 9 locations. That website is stlcompost.com. stlcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. And whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags, St. Louis Composting can provide that. An extensive selection. Order online for convenient delivery to your home or job site. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com.
It is now 6:35, and Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys is sponsoring this edition of Bloomberg's Money Report here on KMOX.
Good morning. President Trump intends to impose fairly substantial tariffs on computer chips. The president hosted a White House dinner for top executives from major technology companies. Many of the CEOs talked about their investments in the country. The president told the reporters he'd have more to say about tariffs on imported semiconductors very shortly. Warner Brothers Discovery is suing an AI startup alleging theft of its intellectual property. The company says Midjourney allowed customers to generate images and videos of characters like Wonder Woman and Superman without permission. Midjourney offers a subscription service that lets customers create images and clips using AI. The company is based in San Francisco. Rivian Automotive trimmed its workforce as it prepares to launch a more affordable electric vehicle. The EV maker says it cut less than 1.5% of its employees. As of last year, Rivian had about 15,000 workers. Production of the R2 SUV, priced at about $45,000, is expected to begin next year. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition.
Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We'll check the roads in just a minute here, but more news now. A Ferguson man facing charges after police say he stabbed 2 people at a hotel in Chesterfield. Authorities say Randy E. Reagans attacked his boss and a coworker with a knife Wednesday morning at Homewood Suites. The victims were taken to the hospital. They're expected to recover. Reagans was later arrested and is being held on $50,000 cash-only bond.
A Higbee, Missouri woman facing felony charges after police say Montana Lynn Simmons chased a man through the streets of Festus, firing shots at his vehicle. The victim reportedly drove to the Festus Police Department for help, where Simmons allegedly fired another shot. No one was injured during the incident. The Jefferson County Prosecutor's Office has requested an arrest warrant and denial of bond for Simmons, calling her a clear danger to the public.
In Barnhart, a man shooting a rifle at people at the Stony Pines apartment complex arrested early Wednesday. Spokesman Grant Bissell with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department says officers were able to pinpoint which apartments the shots were coming from.
Justin Turnbow, and he was arrested and is being held at the Jefferson County Jail now without bond. He's facing 3 charges each of first-degree assault or attempt first-degree assault and armed criminal action.
One of the victims hit in the face by a bullet, but is said to be recovering with non-life-threatening injuries.
It is 6:40. You're listening to Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's no complaints out there so far this morning, Debbie. It's a pretty easygoing morning if you're headed out on the area highways. Not much in the way of delays at all. This traffic reports a service of FanDuel Sports Network, northbound 55. 10 minutes ago we had a little bit of a slowdown north of Butler Hill. It looks good there now. It still looks good north of Bayless in the work zone. Eastbound 30 looks better approaching 270. North 270 had a little slowdown around Clayton Road up to Ladue. It's barely busy through there. It looks better now, like I said, than it did 10 minutes ago. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or eastbound 70, both in great shape. Coming out of Wentzville downtown, the only place we have delays, we had a minor crash westbound 64 west of 3rd Street. There's heavy traffic, not a jam, but it is slow west of the 70 split to that point. But then it opens up and runs fine across the Poplar. Cardinals FanDuel Sports Network is your TV and streaming home of the Cardinals. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals or watch through your TV provider. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's welcome in AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare now. Heather, it looks like we're going to have a pretty nice weekend.
Yeah, we really are. Overall, we have a little bit of an interruption on the way here for today, where even though it has been a bright morning so far, clouds are starting to roll in from the west, and we're eventually going to see some showers follow as well. So far, those showers, they are mostly still out in Kansas, far northwestern parts of Missouri, getting some showers as well. They do catch up with us during the afternoon. We'll have a couple of those showers around, high about 76. Tonight, clouds will break. It'll be cooler with a low of 54, and it turns out sunny tomorrow. We'll have a nice day with a high of 79. A sunny but cool day on Sunday, high 75, then warming up for Monday and Tuesday. Still lots of sunshine with a high near 80 Monday and 83 Tuesday. Right now it's 61 in St. Peters, 63 in Florissant, and 67 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. The Jayhawks return to Columbia, Mizzou, and Kansas this weekend. We'll preview that matchup coming up in sports.
It is 6:42. The Paper, a new spinoff from The Office, is now streaming on Peacock. It follows employees of the Toledo Truth Teller, a local newspaper often overlooked by its community. The show introduces Ned Sampson, played by Domhnall Gleeson, as the idealistic new editor-in-chief.
I am your new editor-in-chief.
Have you read this paper?
Uh-huh.
How do you think it compares to any other paper?
It sucks. But we are going to make it better.
Oscar Martinez from The Office returns as an accountant at Enervate, the company that owns the Truth Teller.
Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
The documentary John Candy, I Like Me, directed by Colin Hanks and produced by Ryan Reynolds, is a tribute not just to Candy the actor, but Candy the man. It premiered last night at the Toronto International Film Festival. The movie is a kind of cinematic eulogy for Candy, who died of heart failure at the age of 43 in 1994. But Candy might be even more popular 3 decades after his passing. The documentary streaming on Prime Video starting October 10th.
Hundreds of classic Sesame Street episodes are coming to YouTube next year.
Sunny day, sleeping rough. Billions are already watching the iconic kids show on the video platform. YouTube says over the past year, viewership was up by more than 130%. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? So Elmo, what's the letter of the day? The letter of the day is It's definitely Y for YouTube, because the deal means it will have the largest digital library of Sesame Street content on any platform. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
A pine tree in Bolivia's capital, La Paz, has become a symbol of hope and devotion after being struck by lightning 10 years ago. Known as the Miracle Tree, it draws pilgrims from across the country to the city's largest cemetery. People bring offerings like coins, flowers, and sweets, hoping the tree will grant their wishes. Some devotees have discovered the tree through social media, while others have long believed in its powers. A study suggests lightning can benefit trees, but local shamans have long seen such events as divine. The tree's allure continues to captivate visitors.
Well, Mizzou and Kansas will meet once again on the gridiron. Matt Pauley has more as one of the most historic college football rivalries renews this weekend in Columbia.
Mizzou football has not played Kansas since Missouri left the Big 12 for the SEC in 2011. When the series was paused, it was the second most played rivalry in the Football Bowl subdivision with 120 matchups. It all changes on Saturday when the Tigers host the Jayhawks for a non-conference game. While fans of the program continue to have a strong dislike, maybe a hate for the other school, many of the players have to be taught about the significance of the rivalry. Both schools brought in former players to speak with their teams this week to explain what this game means. Mizzou holds a 57-54 and 9 advantage in the series, although Kansas disagrees as the result of the 1960 game is disputed. This year's game certainly has significance beyond the historic rivalry. While neither team is currently ranked, each team expects that to change to go along with high expectations for the season. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Both teams do come in undefeated. Mizzou is 1-0, while KU brings a 2-0 mark to Columbia. Kickoff tomorrow is set for 2:30. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs continue Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway as the Enjoy Illinois 300 returns to the Metro East. Chase Briscoe currently leads the points race. He's followed by Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. The NASCAR Cup race is set for 3 o'clock Sunday, but the weekend includes a ton more. Practice and qualifying for the NASCAR race happens Saturday ahead of the New Way 200 Xfinity Series race. That gets underway Saturday night at 7:30. Music acts take the stage tonight and tomorrow, including Lil Jon, former Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright, and Bill Murray and his blood brothers. Cardinals continue their homestand tonight at Busch Stadium. They're coming off a series win against the A's after the 5-1 win Wednesday, which included this shot from Nolan Gorman.
Another one to Gorman. There's a fly ball in the right center field. The right fielder is Brent Rooker. He's at the track, and he is going to watch that ball into the dugout, on the bullpen rather, as Nolan Gorman, I told you he was going to look forward to hitting against a guy like this, hits another home run for the Redbirds. He gives them a 3-0 lead.
Well, Gorman was hot on Wednesday, finished in game 3 for 3 with a pair of singles to go along with that home run. Who's Hot? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Order online for delivery or pick up premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of our 9 locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. Cards start the weekend 70 and 71. They're a half game back of the Reds for 3rd in the National League Central Division. First pitch tonight is set for 7:15. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 6:20. Next sports update is 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are visiting with Dr. Premal Thacker.
I think the key is recognizing symptoms and not ignoring them to say, oh, I think that's going to go away. So I highly encourage anyone who's listening, if they're having abnormal bleeding or hasn't seen their gynecologist in a while, to really make that appointment to ensure that you're getting the best health.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, please visit siteman.wustl.edu.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
It's back, and you're invited to join us in Forest Park, September 19th and 20th, for the 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to New Ground International and Blue Moon Brewing Company. The 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend. For more details, visit the events page at KMOX.com.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:50, and let's get you updated on the ride in on this Friday morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, we're looking good so far, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Metro Transit coming in from out west, Wentzville way, southbound 61 coming down onto eastbound 70 or eastbound 64. Take your pick. They're both hustling across the Missouri River bridges. Northbound 55 down south, coming in through 67, McNutt fine. It still looks okay north of Bayless up to River to Pear. North 270, start to see a little volume again. North of Manchester, headed up through the 64 into the construction zone, but South 270 coming down through the area still is in fine shape, and it's looking better on the Illinois side. You know, we had that minor crash, westbound 64 west of 3rd Street. Looks like that's completely cleared. No longer any delays from the 70 split headed across the Poplar. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
All summer long, Metro Day Passes from Metro Transit are just $5, so you can take a summer daycation anytime because your air-conditioned, no-gas to buy super safe, super clean Chariot awaits. Buy yours at metrostlouis.org. That's metrostl.org.
Checking that forecast for today, we'll see more clouds as we go through the day because we're expecting a couple of showers this afternoon, a high 76, cooler tonight, a low of 54, and then sunny and pleasant tomorrow with a high of 79. We have 61 degrees now downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. Some Missouri residents denouncing the plan to redraw the state's congressional districts at the urging of President Trump. Dozens of people attended the first public hearing for the plan yesterday in the Missouri legislature, speaking against it. Republicans are pressing ahead with a proposed map that would split up a Kansas City district to give the GOP a better shot at winning 7 of Missouri's 8 U.S. House seats. Missouri is the third state to join a national battle over redistricting. More states could follow. Nationally, Democrats need to gain 3 seats in next year's elections to win control of the House.
Illegal items getting into Missouri's 19 prisons by people throwing or drones dropping them over prison fences. During a state legislative task force hearing Wednesday, Missouri Department of Corrections liaison Taylor Hagenhoff says it's a real problem.
We don't have our facilities in superdomes where we can't cover the place completely. So the fence throws are something that we deal with and try to exclude as much as we can, but it's very difficult.
Smuggled items include drugs, weapons, and cell phones.
The city will soon be shutting down the open-air drug market KMOX has been telling you about recently. Mayor Kara Spencer says next week they'll close the park between Soldiers Memorial and the downtown library.
We're going to be closing it temporarily from September 8th to the 14th to clean it and to make sure that we have appropriate resources for folks who have been spending time there.
Spencer says the city has been taking a multi-department approach to providing services to the occupants of the park and will continue to do so after they clear it.
The greenhouse venture broke ground yesterday on a $4.7 million education center in the Shaw neighborhood. 4 city schools, public, parochial, private, and charter, are part of its Urban Education Alliance and have already been participating in urban agriculture programming for several years. Sarah Gibson with Bush Construction says the new building at Lawrence and Detoni will have a rooftop garden, rain gardens, and growth chambers.
The greenhouse is large enough for aquaponics growing beds and tanks, and also for a group to gather for instruction. Systems and structure are intentionally exposed to reveal what is usually behind ceilings and walls.
Through the Greenhouse Venture, students learn about urban agriculture, science, technology, and more. It's all privately funded.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
And today's KMOX birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family-owned and top-rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, September 5th include this actor.
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
That is actor Michael Keaton. He is 74 years old today. Singer Al Stewart is 80 and actor Rose McGowan, 52.
If you would like a birthday or anniversary in the birthday shout-out segment, email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Happy 88th to Eula Montgomery from Greg and the entire Montgomery clan. And happy birthday to our own Dave Glover.
This is the best birthday ever.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklas bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
The Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, how's it look on the roads?
Well, it's been a great morning so far, Megan. It's a pretty light traffic on a Friday morning, so far so good. If you're heading out on the highways, not really much to speak of on any of these interstates that I'm looking at right now. We did have some delays on 270 up around 64 in Ladue. Right now, that has dissipated, so that's great to see. Downtown, like I mentioned, they cleared that crash westbound 64 west of 3rd Street. Traffic's thinned out through there across the Papa Street Bridge, so you look fine at that point. We do have a backup southbound Route 3, it seems like almost every day, south of 270, most of the way down to West Pontoon. That's paving work that's been going on there since the start of the summer months, and it's still going on. Speaking of paving work, they're pouring concrete on the 170 overpass, the ramp from eastbound 270 to south 170 right now. That's why Pershall between Hanley Road and Hazelwood Avenue is closed underneath it till 5 this evening. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, September the 5th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Is Webster Groves the latest to go under the state auditor's microscope? I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Sean Malone. Spire rates are going up, but by how much? Coming up, I'll tell you.
Democrats and Republicans alike jousting with Health Secretary RFK Jr. over vaccines and other issues at Thursday's contentious Senate hearing.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. We're turning out cloudy today with a couple of afternoon showers and a high of 76.
I'm Joe Pott. Michael McGreevy will take the ball for the Redbirds tonight as they open a series with the Giants. I'll tell you why they're banking on him for a series win. That's coming up in sports.
And August job numbers due out next hour. CBS News is next.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We'll get a brand new read on the economy in half an hour and how it's affecting the labor market. CBS's Jason Brooks takes a closer look.
Economists are expecting a modest gain of 77,000 jobs in August, about matching the number in July. The market will be focused on revisions to prior reports after the May and June jobs gains were slashed in the July jobs report, prompting President Trump to fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner.
The president claimed July's numbers were rigged. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett has a new book out, and she's spoken to CBS News in her first TV interview since she joined the court. Senior correspondent Nora O'Donnell asked about the court's independence from politics.
Does the reputation of the Supreme Court matter to you? I want people to have trust in the court, and that's why I wrote this book. Frankly, I wanted people to understand how the court works. I wanted them to understand how we get our cases and how we go about making our decisions, because the court belongs to every American. And I want Americans to feel like they have a stake in the court and they understand what the court does, because what the court does is not the same kind of work that Congress does, and it's not the same kind of work that the president does. Those are the political branches. The court is not one of the political branches.
You can hear the full conversation this weekend on CBS Sunday Morning. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is expected to sign a bill into law today on camp safety after massive flooding washed out Camp Mystic in July, killing at least 27 young campers and staffers. Correspondent Jason Allen from Austin.
Matthew and Wendy Childress' daughter Chloe first went to Camp Mystic when she was 8. After 10 summers as a camper, she went back this year as a counselor.
She was very excited to return and excited to take care of those little girls.
Early on the morning of July 4th, a flash flood roared through the camp. Chloe's cabin, the Bubble Inn, was less than 500 feet from the Guadalupe River. No one survived.
Tesla's board wants to make Elon Musk a trillionaire.
The board is asking investors to approve a pay package that would award Musk up to 423 million more shares if Tesla hits certain milestones over the next decade. His stake could grow to $1 trillion, giving him control of 12% of the company and more voting power. The chairman of Tesla's board says retaining and incentivizing Elon is fundamental to Tesla becoming the most valuable company in history. The board will also ask shareholders whether Tesla should invest billions in Musk's AI research and development company, XAI. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Dow futures are down 46. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
At 7:04, we have partly sunny skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, September 5th. The news sponsored by St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. The Missouri State Auditor's Office is investigating allegations of improper spending by 2 former officials in Webster Groves.
The review is focused on complaints about credit card use, payroll payouts, and potentially personal travel expenses for the city's former assistant city manager and an accountant, both of whom resigned late last year. The Webster Groves city manager denies any wrongdoing and tells the Post-Dispatch that the city is fully cooperating with the review. A spokesperson for Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick confirmed to the paper that they are in the initial stages of determining if the complaints are credible enough to get into a full audit. This comes as the city is also responding to a separate inquiry from the state attorney general's office about its decision to fly a pride flag. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Rates going up for Spire customers.
The rate increase is around 10%, according to Spire Managing Director of Regulatory Affairs, David Yachts. I asked him how customers feel about this rate increase, while many others have recently seen their Ameren rates significantly rise.
Yeah, we're very mindful of any increase, and we certainly do everything that we can to keep any increase as minimal as possible.
Yachts says the rate increase comes because of the increased investment Spire is making towards repairing their systems. He adds those costs have risen due to inflation. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Boeing says it is hiring permanent replacement manufacturing workers in St. Louis.
The move follows a month-long strike by union machinists and contract negotiations falling apart. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley tells Missouri Net Boeing needs to do right by its workers. The aerospace maker says the contract offered to union machinists is the best one the company has ever offered and cites the union initially praising the offer as a landmark deal. A statement from the union says workers on strike want fair pay increases, faster wage progression, and an increased ratification bonus. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
A Missouri House committee voted late yesterday to redraw the state's congressional districts to carve up the Kansas City area in order to gain another Republican-leaning seat. A revised map proposed by Governor Mike Kehoe could give Republicans a chance to win 7 seats in next year's elections. Now they have 6. Republican Representative Dirk Deaton with Democrat Kathy Steinhoff.
How is it changing the values when it really is clearly just changing the parties?
I hope that Missouri sends 8 Republicans to Congress next year. I don't know. I don't think that's
because we voted 100% Republican. I mean, is that what you're
not
saying?
How it works.
Because I believe we're about 40%
1.
Democrat, 60% Republican over the last several years.
Yeah, so I mean, in Congress, there's no constitutional requirement that it just be apportioned by population, that there be proportional political party representation in Congress.
The new maps could go before the full state house as soon as Monday.
Many people around the world who say they have no religious affiliation still hold spiritual beliefs, according to a new survey from the Pew Research Center.
They've been deemed the religious nuns, those who consider themselves agnostic, atheistic, or religiously unaffiliated. But they do have some spiritual beliefs or practices, says Pew senior researcher Jonathan Evans, who led this study that focused on 22 countries.
We find that many religious nuns around the world do hold spiritual beliefs, but they do so at lower rates than people who identify with their religion. And as far as practicing and doing things with their religion, they tend to do things at a lower rate of activity.
45% of American religious nuns believe in God. Overall, 29% of Americans said they fit into that religious nuns category or the religiously unaffiliated. 5% are atheists, 6% are agnostics, and 19% say they're nothing in particular. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 7:08.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. This is your last chance to live in a brand new home at The Preserve, located at Mackenzie and Watson Roads. We have 5 outstanding homes ready for move-in at amazing prices and special financing as low as 4.75%. Choose from ranch or 1.5-story homes backing to woods. Our luxurious Turnberry display is now for sale. Also, get up to $10,000 in free closing costs. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey?
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention parents of children who have used the gaming platform known as Roblox. If your child was a victim of sexual abuse or harm of any kind while using the Roblox platform, you may be entitled to compensation. Roblox is facing multiple high-profile lawsuits, including an ongoing class action, alleging it failed to protect users from foreseeable dangers that led to the grooming, exploitation, and sexual abuse of minors on the platform. Claims allege Roblox turned a blind eye to predators, unsafe games, and deceptive monetization practices that targeted children. Victims were contacted through in-game chats and coerced into private conversations on third-party apps. If you believe your child may have been a victim of grooming, sexual abuse, or harm of any kind while using the Roblox platform, you may be entitled to a cash settlement. Text our helpline now to find out if you have a viable compensation claim against Roblox. Text GONE to 323232. That's GONE to 323232. GONE to 323232.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Wheeler. Struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain? Game Day Men's Health has you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more, all in a relaxed environment that's like being in the man cave. At Game Day, you get a free testosterone test and consultation all in just an hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with 3 area locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10 and time to check traffic and weather on this Friday morning. It's a cloudy start to the day. Let's see what Roger Brand is looking at. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I've had a nice run on the highway so far this morning, Debbie. They are on the scene with a vehicle fire. The engine compartment is engulfed in flames. It sounds like it's southbound 55, just south of 61. So down south of Festus, I don't see any delays through the area. They should be on the shoulder at that point. Northbound 55 looks good coming in from that stretch around Festus. The right lanes again. Earlier we saw a little slowdown around Mattis. I'm seeing that again this time. North 270 still looks good. 55 through Gravois, both directions. 270 up around Ladue look fine. Southbound 94 from 64 down to D backed up. Everybody headed down to Francis Hall High School this Friday morning, so a lot of congestion there. A roadwork jam on southbound Route 3 from just south of 270 most of the way down to West Pontoon Road, backed up again, pretty solid. That's been that way all week this week, really, in that construction zone. Wrapping up at a crash, Old 21 at Lions Den Road as well right now. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather turning out cloudy today with a couple of afternoon showers and a high of 76. Cooler tonight with clouds breaking and a low of 54. Then tomorrow ends up sunny and pleasant with a high of 79. Sunshine but cool with a high of 75 on Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies, 60 in Florissant and St. Peter, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch.
I'm Joe Pott. City's home this weekend. The Cardinals are in town. I'll tell you about all that and more coming up in sports.
It is 7:12. Mayor Spencer announces a plan to spend $12 million more for tornado relief, targeting housing costs and the cleanup of debris.
This work is expected to last and take about 4 to 8 weeks in total, starting this week. Today, we published a debris pickup schedule by neighborhood. This can be found on our recovery website.
This is the final piece of $30 million in interest earned from the Ram settlement allocated post-tornado. About $10 million each has already been spent on removing debris and rights of way and to stabilize homes.
Tariffs taking a bite out of the bottom line for Caleres. The Clayton-based shoe company says sales are down about 3% compared to last year. They're seeing price increases from vendors that will get passed along in the form of higher prices in the store. Caleres told investors tariffs contributed to about $10 million of lost sales due to cancellations and delayed shipments, but it's unclear yet how much consumers will pull back on buying shoes because of higher prices on the shelves.
Tough times for farmers right now.
It's been a really difficult year for row crop farmers.
Chuck Gaskin, senior economist in the research division at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Major row crop prices are below farmers' break-even production costs.
Commodity prices that are at some of the record lows. Input costs are continuing to be elevated, so that you put those two things together, and it's hard to make a profit.
Gaskin says farm equipment dealers are seeing more defaults on payments.
Just south of the Cortex district and a few blocks from the Botanical Gardens, ground broken for a new state-of-the-art urban agriculture education center. The Greenhouse Venture, which has been doing science, nutrition, ag, and tech programming with children from 4 area schools, will have a new building in place by the start of the next school year. Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez.
The Greenhouse Venture Education Center represents millions of dollars dedicated right here in the 6th Ward to education, innovation, and opportunity. For a city that has seen its own population loss, we have to think about that every choice we make matters. And today we are choosing growth, renewal, and our children.
Greenhouse Venture co-founder and president Tom Purcell says the money was all privately raised, and their urban education alliance includes St. Margaret of Scotland, Melanthie, Lafayette Prep, and Center Cross Academy.
Now in its 30th year, Twin City Days underway in Festus and Crystal City. Businesses and organizations from both cities collaborate to put on a host of events from now through Saturday. Some of them include Main Street Market with food and hundreds of vendors, several concerts, a movie in the park, pickleball, washers, and cornhole tournaments.
It takes all of the entire community to come together. Businesses, different organizations, but everyone's proud to be part of the Twin City Days celebration.
Denise Kist is with the Twin City Chamber of Commerce. A complete list of events at twincitychamber.com. It's 7:15.
Well, the PGA Champions Tour is back in St. Louis this weekend, and Dan Reardon is covering for us.
It's the 5th year of senior PGA golf in St. Louis this morning at Norwood Hills Country Club. The tournament, which faced an uncertain future as the Ascension Charity Classic a year ago, now enjoys an exciting future as the Stiefel Charity Classic. The PGA Tour announced earlier this week the tournament moves on the calendar next year to October as the first leg of the Charles Schwab Cup playoffs, giving St. Louis playoff events from both the PGA Tour and the Senior Tour in 2026. PGA Tour major winners dot the groups, with Open champion Stuart Sink, multiple major winner Ernie Els, and former Masters and U.S. Open champion Angel Cabrera in the top 5 in the current tour standings. First group's off at 1 and 10 at 9:10 this morning. Covering the Stiefel Charity Classic, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
St. Louis City is back home tomorrow night. They'll face FC Dallas at Energizer Park. This is the second meeting of the MLS season between the two. Dallas blanked City 3-0 in July in Dallas. City opens the weekend 14th in the Western Conference on 21 points at 5-17-6. Dallas is 12th with 30 points at 7-11-9. Kickoff is set for 7:30 with the pregame coming at 7:15 on our sister station, Y98. Cardinals continue their homestand tonight at Busch Stadium. They're coming off back-to-back series wins, and they start the weekend at 70-71, 1/2 game back of the Reds for third in the National League Central Division. They're 5.5 games out of the wild card race. They trail the Giants and Reds, and they're tied with the Diamondbacks. Michael McGreevy is your player to bank on, sponsored by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. McGreevy has been strong since assuming a regular spot in the Cardinals rotation in June. He'll make his 12th start of the year tonight. He's 6-2 with a 4.17 earned run average, and he's coming off an outstanding month of August. In 6 starts in the month, the right-hander was 4-0 with a 3.5 ERA. He worked 6 innings in all 6 of those starts and boasted a 21-6 strikeout-to-walk ratio in the month. This marks McGreevy's 2nd career start against the Giants. He tossed arguably the best game of his career last year when he faced the Giants in San Fran. He threw a career-high 8 innings. He allowed just a single run on 5 hits, and he struck out 6 batters, didn't walk anyone in the start. Carson Seymour will start for the Giants. He made his Major League debut in June, and he makes just his 2nd Major League start tonight. He's 0-2 with a 4.74 ERA. First pitch is set for 7:15 at Busch Stadium. Amerant Total Access gets underway at 6:20.
Next sports update is 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-506-3355. 800-506-3355. 800-506-3355.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20 Total Information AM here on KMOX. Let's see if there's anything in your way on the roads this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there hasn't been much, thankfully, Megan. It's been a pretty easygoing morning out there. Every once in a while we get a stall or something, but not much going on. In fact, the last one was westbound 70 just past Bryan Road. It's already on the shoulder, so I don't see any delays going through there. Westbound and eastbound 70 coming in through that stretch is wide open as well. Southbound 61, eastbound 64, they all look great coming in from that Wentzville split so far. Southbound 55 starting to see a little bit of a slowdown south of 61. That's where we had that vehicle fire, so watch for maybe a lane blocked at that point. Northbound 55, a little busy now. North of Bayless up to road repair. Northbound 270, a little slow approaching Gravois. Eastbound 30, heavy again from Mauer Industrial to 270. 270 at Ladue still looks okay. Southbound 94, 64 down past Highway D. Not as solid of a jam as it was. It's busy, but not really backed up. Downtown, we still look good. Westbound across the bridges. Still have that back up. Southbound Route 3 south of 270. Most of the way down to West Pontoon due to road work. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today's going to be a cloudy one with a couple of showers in the afternoon and a high of 76 degrees, 54 overnight, and then turning out sunny tomorrow with a high of 79, sunny and 75 on Sunday. Right now, it is cloudy downtown and 60 degrees.
And the weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 7:22. Health Secretary RFK Jr. clashing with senators from both parties during an explosive hearing on Capitol Hill. He faced questioning over recent changes to health agencies, vaccine approvals, and other priorities at a contentious 3-hour Senate hearing.
The session before the Senate Finance Committee gave Democrats and Republicans a chance to seek answers from Kennedy on recent firings at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and changes to COVID-19 vaccines.
Kennedy had a couple of friends in the hearing room, most notably Wyoming Republican John Barrasso, asking about future CDC research.
So what safeguards are in place to ensure decisions are based solely on science and not politics?
Kennedy's response:
Americans have lost faith in CDC, and we need to restore that faith. And we're going to do that by telling the truth and not through propaganda.
But most of the hearing went something like this.
Sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are.
I think that you ought to resign.
And you should resign.
How can you be that ignorant?
Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren called out Kennedy for his firing of CDC Director Susan Menares, whom Kennedy had called unimpeachable during her confirmation hearing.
In a month, she became a liar?
Yeah, you should ask her what changed. And by the way, a month ago, you were voting against her. Oh, because you thought she was either incompetent, ineligible, or unsuited to the task.
I voted
Now
against her
agree
because
with
I was afraid she was going to bend the knee to you and Donald Trump. And it looks like she didn't bend the knee, so you fired her.
Louisiana Republican Bill Cassidy, who is a doctor, challenged Kennedy over the legacy of the historic COVID vaccine push during the first Trump administration.
Mr. Secretary, do you agree with me that the president deserves a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed?
Yeah, absolutely, Senator. That was phenomenal.
Let me ask you, but you just told Senator Bennett that the COVID vaccine killed more people than COVID.
Wait,
that was a statement.
I did not say that.
Okay, then let me ask, because you also...
Senator, I just want to make clear, I did not say that.
We'll check the record. That's a question of fact.
There is no record of Kennedy explicitly saying that, but he has referenced soundly debunked assertions about the death rates during the COVID vaccine trials. And on vaccines, New Hampshire Democrat Maggie Hassan and Kennedy got into it over the new policy limiting access to the next COVID vaccine.
People who want to exercise their freedom of choice are being denied that because you are citing data that you won't produce to the public.
You're just
you are rejecting
You're
science.
making things up to scare people, and it's a lie.
With respect, I do not think I'm the one making.
You are lying
Mr. Chair.
right now, Senator.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved updated COVID-19 shots, but only for seniors or younger people with underlying health risks. That's led many pharmacies to say they will refuse vaccines to people outside those groups. I'm Richard Johnson.
A White House official confirms the president will sign an executive order today to start the process of renaming the Department of Defense. The move would restore the name the agency last held in the late 1940s.
Earlier this year, President Trump signed an order renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Now, changes coming to the Department of Defense. The president expected to put pen to paper today on an executive order that names it the Department of War. He recently hinted at the move and was asked about clearing it with Congress.
I'm sure Congress will go along if we need that. I don't think we even need that, but if we need that, I'm sure Congress will go along.
He said he much prefers the name Department of War and pointed to the history of that name.
You know, that was the name when we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything. And just to me seems like just a much more appropriate. The other is defense is too defensive. And we want to be defensive, but we want to be offensive, too, if we have to be. So it just sounded to me better.
On social media this week, the department's secretary, Pete Hegseth, posted in all caps, quote, Department of War. I'm Clayton Neville.
House members from the right, left, and in between expressing support for a stock trading ban for members of Congress.
A rare alliance is emerging on Capitol Hill in support of a ban on members trading stocks. A dozen House Republicans and Democrats who rarely agree came out Wednesday to rally around a new bill. It would prohibit members of Congress and their families from owning and trading stocks and require lawmakers to divest individual stocks and bonds. It's a step up from disclosure requirements passed in 2012.
I would note that President Trump has said he supports it.
Texas Republican Chip Roy.
And vast numbers of both sides of the aisle support this, and it is long past time that we move.
Tennessee conservative Tim Burchett got a fist bump from New York progressive Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
This body has been enriching itself on the taxpayers' dime, and dadgummit, it's got to stop.
It is one of those rare moments where I feel like Washington is working the way that it's supposed to work.
The plan seems to have momentum in the House, but may face a more difficult climb in the Senate. Jennifer King, Washington.
It is 7:27. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman here. I have a question for you. Are you in the market for a new car? Let Genesis of St. Charles bring that test drive right to you. They are closer than you think. or you can stop by for exclusive in-store offers. Genesis of St. Charles has the largest selection of new Genesis models in stock, ready for you to drive home. They are the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025, based on GMA sales records for 2024. Genesis of St. Charles. You can buy online and let them deliver to you, or you can go into 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway in St. Peters off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and see for yourself. Luxury selection, luxury service. They are Genesis of St. Charles. They're Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. Genesis of St. Charles. GenesisofStCharles.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Looking for a place to call home without all the maintenance? Check out the Towns of Linneman Park, new townhomes by Lombardo, located in St. Peters. These new construction townhomes are located on the south side of 36494, east of Harvester Road, and offer floor plans featuring 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a loft, and 2-car attached garages. Community amenities include a clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, dog park, and walking trails. Tour our newly decorated display and fall in love with your new townhome. Visit lombardohomes.com for more information.
At 7:30, we have cloudy skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, driving in on Highway 55 this morning is a pretty good run. There's still a little bit of a slowdown southbound 55, south of 61, where we had that earlier vehicle fire. Northbound 55, just a bit of a slowdown between Bayless and Weber, and then you sort yourself out. There's more volume on North 270. Call it north of the Sappington Road overpass through Gravois. It opens up midway to 44, and then there's a slowdown again, Manchester, about midway up to Ladue. South 270 coming down through Alvin to Ladue still looks great. Southbound 61, eastbound 64, eastbound 70. Coming in from Wentzville across the Missouri River Bridges, no big deal yet. Westbound 64, a little heavy from McCausland, headed out to Hanley. Downtown, we're just a little busy. Westbound 64, right as you approach the Poplar Street Bridge, like Route 3 onto the bridge, but then it gets rolling after that, and still seeing that jam southbound on Route 3 south of 270, most of the way down to West Pontoon where they are doing road work. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a cloudy day today. We could see a couple of showers this afternoon, a high of 76. Those clouds will break overnight. It'll be cooler with an overnight low of 54, and then sunny and pleasant tomorrow with a high of 79. Right now, cloudy skies, 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
Missouri's 19 prisons have Narcan available to reverse drug overdoses. During a state legislative task force hearing on Wednesday, Missouri Department of Corrections liaison Taylor Hagenhoff said smuggling drugs is a problem that plagues prisons.
Our staff are trained to administer that, and they do in circumstances when it's needed.
She said some drugs have been turned into liquid and sprayed onto things like paper, which is hard to detect.
The open-air drug market KMOX News has been telling you about will soon be shut down.
St. Louis City Mayor Kara Spencer says the city will be closing the park between Soldiers Memorial and the Downtown Public Library from September 8th through the 14th. Mayor Spencer says the city is committing a variety of resources to the park's occupants.
We have a multi-department approach here. We've got the Department of Human Services, Fire Department, Parks and Rec, a whole host of our city departments all on deck for this.
While the park is closed, Spencer says the city will clean it and continue to connect the people at the park with resources. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
As a union worker strike reaches the 1-month mark, St. Louis aerospace maker Boeing says it is hiring permanent replacement manufacturing workers. Senator Josh Hawley tells MissouriNet Boeing management needs to suck it up because the workers have been getting the shaft.
And I think what needs to happen at the end of the day is management needs to come to the table and do right by their workers. I mean, listen, the CEOs of Boeing have made unbelievable sums of money while their planes have been falling out of the sky, literally.
Boeing GM Dan Gillian says the contract offered to union machinists is the best one the company has ever offered and cites the union initially praising it as a landmark deal. In a statement from Union President Tom Bowling, he says the union workers want fair pay increases, faster wage progression, and an increased ratification bonus.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:33.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
It is 7:35 and time for your money report, sponsored by Busey Bank.
Good morning. Compensation for canceled and delayed flights may not be on the way after all. The Trump administration is moving to eliminate rules requiring airlines to pay passengers and provide free rebookings for delays and cancellations caused by non-weather related issues. The Biden-era rule called for airlines to compensate passengers through payments ranging from $200 to $775. Toyota issues a recall for about 62,000 vehicles that were sold in the country. There's an issue with the windshield defrosters in various Toyota and Lexus brand vehicles. A software glitch could result in the units not removing frost, ice, or fog. And Paramount Skydance is distributing films made by Legendary Entertainment under a new 3-year deal. The first film to be released under this agreement is Street Fighter, based on the video game, slated to hit the big screens in October of next year. Legendary produced Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and more recently the Dune films. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Within the cities we call home, Busey Bank is more than a name. It's a commitment to your dreams. With Busey, trusted guidance is tailored to empower you every step of the way. Whether it's seamlessly managing your finances or planning for your future, Busey is dedicated to your financial success. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's live in St. Louis, September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. Truehold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit Truehold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Save on prescriptions, discounts at restaurants, hotels, shopping, and more with Quiver River Electric's Co-op Connections program. Register for a free Co-op Connections account. Download the app on your smartphone, and you're on your way to savings. For more on this program that gives you incredible discounts on everyday expenses, visit quiverriver.com. Click on Member Resources, then select Co-op Connections, or call us at 1-800-392-3709. A tip from Quiver River Electric Cooperative. Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules. Today, the Cards, the Giants. Emlyn Total Access 620. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch with Debbie Monterrey. And in the news, demolition underway at the historic Clinton Peabody Apartments in St. Louis. Built in 1942, it's the oldest public housing development in the city. In 23, residents voted to demolish the buildings and replace them with new modern housing. The redevelopment will create 350 new apartments and homes, along with a new park and renovated community center. Construction on those new buildings expected to begin in early 2026.
Yet another eatery will be leaving City Garden in downtown St. Louis. Burger 809 will close in December. It replaced Caldy's Coffee, but the space has also housed Joe's Chili Bowl, Death in the Afternoon, and Terrace View. The Gateway Foundation that operates City Garden tells the Post-Dispatch that next year a new concept will open in the space and it will be managed internally.
It's 7:40. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look, Roger?
Well, for the peak of the rush hour, it's not bad, Megan, but it's certainly busier. This traffic reports a service of financial and tax strategies. I'm looking at, I guess it's a stall. I don't know. They're blocking the left lane, though. Southbound 270 north of Dorset. South 270 is backed up at Highway 70 if you're headed that way right now. And then South 270 slow from Olive down to 64. North 270 is bogged down both sides of Gravois. It's busy north of Doherty Ferry and pockets up to Ladue. Not a solid jam. Eastbound 64, a little slowdown midway in from Winghaven to Highway K. Still looks okay at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 is just a little busy at the city limits, so that's not bad. If you're on northbound 55, it looked great coming up from Festus. Still no delays north of Bayless up to River to Pear. Downtown westbound 64, just west of 3rd Street to the Poplar, a bit of a slowdown. Not as much of a backup now, but still a jam. Southbound Route 3, it's about midway down from 270 to West Pontoon Road, so like half the backup that we had earlier in that area. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
It is 7:41. If people have outdoor plans, there shouldn't be too many problems weather-wise. We get the latest from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Heather Zaire.
Yeah, not too many to worry about, but we do have clouds that are really starting to fill in a little bit more across the area now. Still at least some bright spots, but we're going to end up seeing those fading behind just thickening clouds as we go into the afternoon. That'll also be accompanied by a couple of showers for the afternoon hours. We've had some showers trying to move into areas across far northern reaches of the listening area. However, they haven't been holding on very well. Most of the showers that we're keeping an eye on are are still back across Kansas. So we might see a couple of those surviving here into the afternoon, but a lot of it's going to end up falling apart. So shouldn't be a major interruption to your afternoon. 76 is going to be the high for today. Then the clouds break and it cools down to 54 tonight. We turn out sunny with a high of 79 tomorrow, and it stays sunny but cool with a high of 75 on Sunday. We're going to warm up then for early next week. Still lots of sunshine, high 80 on Monday and 83 Tuesday. Right now we have 61 in St. Peter's, 61 in Florissant, and 67 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. The Tigers and Jayhawks meet again tomorrow, and the NASCAR Cup Playoff Series brings its race to the Metro East. I've got details on all of that coming up in sports.
More news now. Italian fashion designer Giorgio Armani has died at the age of 91. Over 5 decades, he revolutionized fashion and built a multi-billion-dollar brand. Bradley Blackburn looks back at his life.
His name was synonymous with fashion, and for half a century, Giorgio Armani dressed the famous and the powerful, from titans of industry to global superstars.
He's a wonderful guy. He's a catch.
Born in a small Italian town in 1934, Armani thought of becoming a doctor before the world of fashion captured his imagination. In 1975, he founded his own design house and soon reinvented the suit.
It appears that at the time of his death in 2016, David Bowie was working on a musical. According to the BBC, notes on the musical were discovered in the late music legend's study.
The show was called The Spectator, and it was about 18th century London. The notes were shared exclusively with the BBC, who reports that they, quote, show Bowie's fascination with the development of art and satire in the 18th century London, alongside stories of criminal gangs and the notorious thief Honest Jack Shepherd. BBC News' Mark Savage has more.
A note pinned to the wall of David Bowie's office simply read 18th century musical. On his desk were notepads of research and character studies, and according to Madeleine Haddon, the curator of the Bowie archive at the V&A, he was developing strong themes.
He was really fascinated with criminals who were considered to be kind of populist heroes, and he was interested in public executions, and he was also interested in the development of musicals themselves.
Well, it's been a decade since Hamilton changed Broadway forever, and the original cast is celebrating. Lin-Manuel Miranda and others reunited in New York to mark the 10th anniversary, just as the cinematic stage performance hits movie theaters for the first time. Miranda says he's loving the viral trend of fans dressing up as Alexander Hamilton and turning scenes into memes.
I find the fans' ways of continuing to honor their love for the show it's always hilarious, and I'm always grateful.
Well, the border showdown between Missouri and Kansas renews tomorrow in Columbia as the Tigers and Jayhawks meet in football for the first time since 2011. KU brings a 2-0 record to Columbia, while the Tigers are 1-0. Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkwitz said this week he's letting his team know of the importance of this game.
Obviously, it's an important game to a lot of people, and our team fully is aware of the importance of this game to our fans in the state and what it represents nationally and what it represents, in a historical significance. We've embraced it. We understand it. We've taught about it. We've made sure our team knows about it. We've had guest speakers. And I will say this, I have a lot of respect for Coach Leipold and what he's done and the job that he's done. He's a national championship coach. He's went to 2 other previous programs and transformed them into a winning program. And you can see with what he's done in a short amount of time at Kansas, what a terrific coach he is, his entire staff.
That's Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkwitz from his weekly press conference. That's courtesy of MUTigers.com. Kickoff is 2:30 tomorrow, and that game is on ESPN2. Dan Reardon's previewing the Stiefel Charity Classic. That gets underway today at Norwood Hills Country Club.
Professional golf returns to the St. Louis golf calendar this morning with the opening round of the newly renamed Stiefel Charity Classic at Norwood Hills Country Club. Y.E. Yang returns as the 2024 champion, attempting to become the first player to record a second win in St. Louis. 20 of the top 25 players on the PGA Tour champions filled the 78-player field, with number 2, Stuart Sink, number 3, Ernie Els, and number 5, Angel Cabrera, all major champions, headlining the opening round. Play begins at 9:10 on both 1 and 10T. Covering the Stiefel Charity Classic, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs continue Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway as the Enjoy Illinois 300 returns to the Metro East. Chase Briscoe currently leads the points race. He's followed by Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. The NASCAR Cup race is set for 3 o'clock Sunday, but the weekend includes a ton more. Practice and qualifying for the race happens Saturday. That's ahead of the New Way 200 Xfinity Series race, which gets underway Saturday night at 7:30. Music acts will take the stage tonight and tomorrow. That includes Little John, former Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright, and Bill Murray and his Blood Brothers, all coming up this weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway. St. Louis City's in town. They've got Dallas at Energizer Park tomorrow night. Kickoff is 7:30. We'll have it on our sister station Y98 beginning with pregame at 7:15. And the Cardinals start a weekend series with the Giants tonight at Busch Stadium. They're coming off a series win against the A's, and they'll take on the Giants as they start the weekend at 70-71, 1/2 game back of the Reds for third in the National League Central Division. First pitch tonight is 7:15. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 6:20. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Wow, we've had a hot summer so far. Probably still got a little bit more heat coming in through the rest of August and September. Most likely, let you know, I am still here. If you guys looked up the wife looking through you at a fork, I am still here. She still loves the hell out of me because my air conditioner did not break this summer, and I did not need to call me to have it looked at or have it fixed. But if you do need your air conditioner fixed, we can get to you pretty quick. If you want a new one, somebody tells you need a new one, we can get to you really quick. Just call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. I almost forgot. bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune into the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
A little kindness goes a long way.
Hold a door, share a compliment, just be polite. It doesn't cost a thing.
And it can change someone's whole day.
Let's prove the world's a little brighter than the headlines.
So let's all do our part, one small act at a time.
Because kindness is contagious.
The Chris and Amy Show, sharing kindness with Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. Now the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's see how things are moving on this Friday morning. It hasn't been too bad. Roger Brand has the latest on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it hasn't been, just some slowdowns for the most part, Megan, although we still have this jam in Maryland Heights. They do have a flatbed tow truck on the scene, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. But the left lane is still closed. Southbound 270 north of Dorset, South 270 is jammed at Highway 70 because of it. Once you get around that, it's still slow. Olive down through to 64. Northbound 270, heavy right through the Gravois area, then Big Bend up past Manchester. It doesn't look as bad as you get closer to 64, actually. Eastbound 64, a little busy at the Interbelt. Westbound around the city limits, there's a little bit of volume, but again, not bad. Northbound 55, Loughborough, Virginia area is the busiest part there downtown. Again, just a little slowdown approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. No backup. Or Route 3, though, I do see a backup at Queenie back through Judith. And southbound Route 3 has that jam south of 270 most of the way down to West Pontoon due to road work. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, you shouldn't have too many issues, although you may see a couple of showers this afternoon. Otherwise, just a cloudy day with a high of 76. And then the rest of the weekend, all the way through Tuesday, just sunshine. Tomorrow, 79, 75 on Sunday. It's mostly cloudy, 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
Next time somebody says, St. Louis, what's St. Louis got?
Well, look who's joining us in Studio B. Why, it is Scott Jagow, and we get to guess, along with those of you at home, where Scott Jagow's been roaming, joining in the guessing, Joe Pott, Megan Lynch. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Hi, Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm
Where have you
excited.
been roaming?
Well, I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to play
okay.
you some clues and see if you can figure it out.
It's not how the game works.
That's exactly how the game.
I meant Debbie. No, you are.
Oh,
yes,
I see.
I know you know.
I
how
thought
the
I
game
could trick
works.
him.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here's clue number 1.
You know, when Chavez took over the government, we decided that it's not going to be a safe place for us, so we moved to the United States, my sister and me. And eventually, like I said, after a few years, my mom.
Okay, so there's a big clue in there,
Okay. They moved to the United States from someplace that wasn't safe.
but there was a name in there. No one
Sister and
catch it.
mom. That's all I heard.
Mom?
No, at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Chavez.
Ding, ding.
Oh, Chavez. Okay.
So that's a huge clue as to where she's moving from.
Okay.
Okay, here's clue number 2.
So you had to educate people about the cuisine?
Yeah, because some people, when I was saying Venezuela, they were asking Minnesota, Venezuela.
Wait,
South
Minnesota
America.
and Venezuela?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2 different places.
It is. They are. We saw the opportunity, and that's what we are right now.
So people were
Venezuela.
mixing it up with Minnesota, Venezuela. What's the cuisine in Minnesota?
Lutefisk, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And those juicy Lucy cheeseburgers.
Salmon,
Right? That's all.
salmon, and
Yeah, there you go.
rice,
Exactly.
wild rice.
Yeah. So she had opened a business, and I think there's more clues here in number 3.
Yeah,
This
and
is
what's
chocolate. You can try just
chocolate?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
Like a mole or literally?
No,
just-
no, it's just the
Straight up
Hershey,
chocolate.
the Hershey one.
So it's like a dessert?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. That is fantastic.
You can eat it itself only with the guava and cheese, and it's really
So they have
good.
cheese in them and chocolate.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Cheese, chocolate, and guava.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Very
that's
interesting.
rich.
Well,
Cheese,
served-
chocolate, and guava?
Yes, it's served with 2 different sauces. One is a cilantro garlic sauce,
So
which is their kind of
Why do you do this to us every
savory.
time?
I know. I wish I had samples
I do too.
because they
Should be a
wouldn't save
requirement.
very well though. You have to
Don't
eat
come
it
back
fresh.
without
I'm not
food.
roaming unless there's some
I'm sorry.
tangible samples.
They're not open yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, they're open. They're not open this morning
Right.
yet until 11. Anyway, but the 2 sauces, one savory and one is the chocolate sauce. But I was surprised that the cheese chocolate guava combination was so good.
Right. It doesn't sound good.
It
but
doesn't, but it's actually.
I'll believe you.
I got
I'd
some
take
on
the
my
risk.
shirt.
Right. I'm willing to try it. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I got it on my shirt, the guava. Anyway, so I think in one of these clues it talks about how they started, but maybe it's this one. But they did start at Tower Grove Park.
Oh.
Okay, but now they have a brick and mortar. So
Okay. So at the farmer's market or something?
they did start at the farmers market.
Okay.
This is our 3rd time that we participate in the Festival of Nations. It's a really good festival.
How have you found the atmosphere downtown for your restaurant?
They are really open. You know, the diversity that downtown has, they are not scared to try new cultures, new food, and that helps us a lot.
So we know where it is
Yes. Argentinian restaurant downtown.
now. No, Venezuela.
Oh, Venezuelan. I'm sorry. Venezuelan.
Right.
Not Minnesotan.
Not Minnesota.
Okay.
So it is downtown. I thought there was a clue in there about Tower Grove Park, but they just did the Festival of
Mhm.
Nations, which is held in Tower Grove Park.
Okay.
But they had a stand there for several years before they opened this restaurant.
I
No, nothing?
no.
I got one more clue.
But I'm very interested.
Okay, here we go.
I wanted to ring
I also
bells.
noticed on your menu that there is a plantain-based burger, which I have never heard of, but it says plantain burger, chimichurri, jalapenos, and pickled onions. That sounds amazing. Amazing is the name of your restaurant. So.
It is. We replace the bread for the plantains and everything else. It's like a standard burger.
Okay,
Wow.
plantain burger, and the name I said
Something
it.
amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
No, haven't
No.
heard of it. It's pretty
No.
new, so I don't expect you
How
to know.
new?
Within the last few months. Actually, I think they might have opened last year, but they've really taken off this year. All right, I'll tell you what
Yeah,
it is.
tell us.
It's called Amazing Arepa Bar.
Oh,
Amazing
okay.
spelled with an I, like corn, maize. And you can walk there from here. It's at 14th and Washington.
Awesome. Yeah, that is just around the corner from here.
They have lunch specials. It's a great place for people who work downtown to go. and their food is incredible. I got to try several things. Venezuelan restaurant, amazing arepa bar. They have cocktails and they do parties and stuff on the weekends. It's a really neat place.
All right,
Did
that's
you
my
try the
next lunch
plantain
spot.
burger? No, they didn't make that for me, but
All right, we're being told we have to go,
Yeah.
but we'll hear more on Sunday.
8:20 and 9:20.
It is Scott Jagow roaming St. Louis.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Get ready, St. Louis, for the annual Community Health and Wellness Day on Saturday, September 6th, 2025, from 10:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. at 4700 West Florissant and Shreve Avenue. Free health screenings, free food, line dancing, door prizes, pony rides, petting zoo, double dutch, and more. For a mammogram appointment, call 1-800-600-3606 and press 2. See you at 4700 West Florissant. Visit newsunnymountmbc.org for more information.
KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood.
Is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Labor Department is flashing a new warning sign in brand new numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The government said the economy produced 22,000 jobs. That's lower than the 75,000 expected. The previous 2 months were revised lower by 21,000. Of course, that's much lower than the more than 250,000 of revisions we had in the July report.
The jobless rate ticked up 2 last month.
The unemployment rate increased to 4.3%. That's the highest since the fall of 2021.
Numbers will figure into the Fed's decision on whether to finally lower interest rates, something President Trump's been calling for months now. The Fed is scheduled to meet later this month. Don't call it the Defense Department for much longer. CBS's Linda Kenyon says Mr. Trump's expected to sign a directive today, reverting back to a name that stood for 150 years.
The executive order renames the Department of Defense as the Department of War as a secondary title. President Trump's order also authorizes the Secretary of Defense, the Department of Defense, and all officials to use secondary titles like Secretary of War and Deputy Secretary of War in all official correspondence.
It became the Defense Department shortly after World War II. The District of Columbia is taking the Trump administration to court over the president's order that sent National Guard troops into the nation's capital. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
This goes into the D.C. federal court, and it will be the U.S. Department of Justice defending this lawsuit. So you will have the Washington, D.C. Attorney General versus the United States Attorney General in court.
New York State will try try to get around the FDA's new COVID vaccine restrictions.
Governor Kathy Hochul plans to sign an executive order that would allow pharmacists to vaccinate anyone over 3 years old without a prescription. The FDA has only authorized COVID shots for people 65 and older or people who have underlying medical conditions. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was criticized for that new policy during a Senate hearing yesterday.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
Senator Cantwell.
I think you're wrong.
California, Oregon, and Washington are forming an alliance to issue their own vaccine recommendations. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A worst case scenario becomes a reality in the NBA.
Caitlin looks like she's in pain after that pass.
That's the WNBA's Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark announcing on X she'll miss the rest of the season because of injuries. Clark hasn't played since July 15th. In her X post, she says disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how she's feeling. Dow futures down 33. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, September 5th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. The Missouri State Auditor's Office investigating allegations of improper spending by two former officials in Webster Groves.
The review is focused on complaints about credit card use, payroll payouts, and potentially personal travel expenses for the city's former assistant city manager and an accountant, both of whom resigned late last year. The Webster Groves city manager denies any wrongdoing and tells the Post-Dispatch that the city is fully cooperating with the review. A spokesperson for Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick confirmed to the paper that they are in the initial stages of determining if the complaints are credible enough to get into a full audit. This comes as the city is also responding to a separate inquiry from the state attorney general's office about its decision to fly a pride flag. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Boeing says it's hiring permanent replacement manufacturing workers in St. Louis.
The move follows a month-long strike by union machinists and contract negotiations falling apart. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley tells Missouri Net Boeing needs to do right by its workers.
Management here needs to suck it up and get this thing over with. Give the workers what they deserve. Rebuild that company. That company is so important to our state, the jobs that it provides, the great things that it produces. What we've got to have a strong Boeing that begins with strong workers.
The aerospace maker says the contract offered to union machinists is the best one the company has ever offered and cites the union initially praising the offer as a landmark deal. A statement from the union says workers on strike want fair pay increases, faster wage progression, and an increased ratification bonus. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
Missourians testified yesterday to denounce a plan to redraw the state's congressional districts, but Republican lawmakers pressed ahead with President Trump's strategy to bolster Republicans in next year's congressional elections. Representative Mark Sharp, Democrat from Kansas City, questioned why there's a call for redistricting now when it usually only happens at the census, not the midterms. He also says he's angry the governor's proposed map would split Kansas City between multiple congressional districts. Sharp got into it with GOP Representative Dirk Deaton.
Why not wait? We have another census coming up in a few years. Why rush it through now?
Well, I mean, most specifically, I think it kind of, in a way, goes without saying, but I'll say it, is that the governor called us here, and it's his prerogative.
Missouri's 19 prisons have added a variety of measures to stop the flow of illegal items getting in, like scanners, but not all workers are required to go through scanners. During a Missouri Legislative Task Force hearing Wednesday, St. Louis State Representative Kimberly Ann Collins says she wants the prisons to change the policy.
I sat there for 2 hours in Vandalia and watched not a staff member go through those body scanners. Why is that not happening if the General Assembly appropriated the funds for those body scanners?
State Department of Corrections liaison Taylor Hagenhoff says employees are randomly selected to go through scanners due to radiation concerns. Mayor Kara Spencer announces a new effort to fight a growing drug market.
Mayor Spencer says the city will be shutting down the park between Soldiers Memorial and the public library, which KMOX has reported has turned increasingly into an open-air drug market in recent months.
We're going to be closing it temporarily from September 8th to the 14th to clean it and to make sure that we have appropriate resources for folks who've been spending time there.
KMOX reported last month over 350 calls for service were made to that park from May through August. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Pew Research Center out with the results of a new study of religious nuns, not Catholic sisters, but those who consider themselves agnostic, atheistic, or religiously unaffiliated.
The Pew Research Center focused on the religiously unaffiliated in 22 countries and found them to be a bit more spiritual than was assumed.
In all 22 countries, about a fifth or more believe in life after death. We also find that significant shares believe around the world that animals can have spirits or spiritual energy.
60% of America's religiously unaffiliated believe animals can have spirits or spiritual energies, while 57% say there's something spiritual beyond the natural world, even if we cannot see it. 45% of American religious nuns believe in God. Overall, 29% of Americans say they fit into that religious nuns category or the religiously unaffiliated. 5% are atheist, 6% are agnostics, and 19% say they are nothing in particular. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call Cordell & Cordell today because your business is more than a job, it's your legacy.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention parents of children who have used the gaming platform known as Roblox. If your child was a victim of sexual abuse or harm of any kind while using the Roblox platform, you may be entitled to compensation. Roblox is facing multiple high-profile lawsuits, including an ongoing class action, alleging it failed to protect users from foreseeable dangers that led to the grooming, exploitation, and sexual abuse of minors on the platform. Claims allege Roblox turned a blind eye to predators, unsafe games, and deceptive monetization practices that targeted children. Victims were contacted through in-game chats and coerced into private conversations on third-party apps. If you believe your child may have been a victim of grooming, sexual abuse, or harm of any kind while using the Roblox platform, you may be entitled to a cash settlement. Text our helpline now to find out if you have a viable compensation claim against Roblox. Text GONE to 32 32 32. That's GONE to 32 32 32. GONE to 32 32 32.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 8:10. Let's see how things are going. It's really been a quiet morning. Roger Brand has more for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it hasn't been bad for the most part. We had a couple. Well, we have a new problem now, Megan, and we had an earlier one that it looks like they cleared. The one they cleared was the South 270 stall north of Dorset. Everything's back to normal there. North 270 is only heavy from Manchester up to Ladue. The southbound side doesn't look bad there. The new trouble spot now is eastbound 64. We have a crash east of Winghaven. The right lane is closed. Traffic's jammed approaching Winghaven. Again, this is about midway into Highway K, so a solid jam through there on eastbound 64. Once you get past that, though, it's wide open through the Interbelt. Westbound, no big deal there. Northbound 55 looks good coming up from Festus all the way into downtown. Downtown, we're still clear across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Still seeing some traffic, not as bad, but still a bit of a backup on southbound Route 3 approaching West Pontoon, north of Granite City in that construction area. But like I said, otherwise, things are quiet. But don't forget, Purcell Road is closed between Hanley Road and Hazelwood Avenue till 5 this evening for concrete pouring on the overpass above it. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will be turning out cloudy. We'll also have a couple of showers in the afternoon with the best chance south of the city, high 76. Clouds break tonight. It'll be cooler with a low of 54. Then we turn out sunny and nice with a high of 79 tomorrow. A cool day in store for Sunday. Sunshine with a high of 75. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have cloudy skies, 63 degrees in Florissant, 61 in St. Peters, and 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Well, the search is on for an artist who has a vision for next year's 314 Day. With me, 314 Day co-founder Terrell Dip Evans. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Megan, for having me. Good morning to you.
So this is the 20th year for 314 Day. Are you hoping that artists will come up with something that really represents that milestone?
Yes, you know we are. Sports the 314 Day Foundation. Like it's really special this year, right? 20 years is a big milestone for the city, and we're looking for that historic art piece.
What does 314 Day still mean to you as one of the founders of this event?
Unity, expression, and showing how great the city is. You know, despite what we have going on or any negative things that we have, I think there's more positive that comes out of St. Louis more than anything. And that's what we kind of focus on over here at the foundation, is making sure that all of those things get heard also.
So who are you looking for to do this? What are you wanting to see out of artists that are interested in sharing their vision?
Creativity, being who they are. Like what comes to mind when you think of 314 Day? That's the most important part. It's pride, it's civic pride, and we're looking just to make sure that hey, let the world know how great we are. Let the world know how great you are, and let's figure out a way to get you to the next level.
What have been some of your favorite designs over the years? Describe them for our listeners.
Oh, all of them. First off, shout out to Dan, Maury, and Chelsea. They're the last three winners that won the past couple of years, and all their designs was amazing. Everybody's design was unique as far as creativity and who they are as a person. And you kind of see it through the artwork also. So, like, just be you. I mean, you're already great. You're from St. Louis.
Are there any requirements for the design that you're asking when artists submit their entries?
No, it's no requirements. It's just you being you as an artist. What comes through your pen or your pencil, whatever you use to create art, what comes through you as being a native of St. Louis, Missouri, or even moving in town from another city and being, is now currently living in St. Louis. So it's all about the artist. We try our best to make sure to let that shine through.
Who will be judging it?
So the 314 Day Foundation team helps judge it, Greater St. Louis and STL Made. And we get a lot of great submissions every year. So we're really looking forward to this year because the 20-year anniversary is special.
Do you feel like this has really launched some artists over the years who were featured?
Yes, I actually really have. When we first actually launched, Dan was one of the first guys that, shout out to Dan, that, did the design for us. And do you remember the Emos Pizza Box?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Dan ended up doing the Emos Pizza Box. Marley, she ended up, going into schools and teaching the art classes and things like that. Like, a lot of the artists really have took off from here.
We're talking with 314 Day co-founder Dip Evans. Dip, tell us a little bit about how these artists can send these entries in and any requirements that they have to fulfill in the deadline.
Yes. Okay. So first off, our artists have to be 18 and up. We're looking for them to submit a portfolio about 8 to 12 of current art that comes from them. And then a resume, just to see who they are. And we asked a couple of questions too. I think that's another part of the whole competition that is important. Like, okay, why would you want to do this? Like, Megan, I'm going to ask you, what's the perfect 314 day?
So
for you?
For me, Well,
Yeah, what's the perfect 314 day?
Perfect 314 day. Now you've got me
Yeah, what does
stuck.
that look like to you?
You know what
Yeah,
314?
Megan, I used to do radio too. I'm
Well,
sorry.
you know, you're fine. You know what 314 day looks like to me? Here's what I have always, and I'm not originally from the St. Louis area, but here is what I have always loved about St. Louis and why I have stayed here in my career. It is simply the people and the attractions and the feeling that even though we're a big city, it doesn't feel like a big city in a lot of ways. I think the community is what's always appealed to me.
Right. Yeah. It's just the community is great. It's great. But yeah, just answering a couple of questions and then submit it in. They can submit it to the STL.com 314 design. And as long as they submitted it by September the 19th, by October 13th, we will have a winner and we'll notify them. And we off to the races then.
So how many ways is this art used around 314 day?
Oh, it's used for a lot. We do a lot of merch. So T-shirts, stickers, of course, the big planetarium photo that we do every year at the St. Louis Science Center. You know, we project whatever their art piece on the planetarium that year. A lot of interviews and things like that, but a ton of swag.
So is there anything else you can tease about what you've got coming up for next year?
Greatness for the city. That's all I can say. I can't give out too much, but you know, with it been 20 years, we see a lot of other cities picking up the blueprint and running with it. It's all about uniting, you know, your city and having whatever as far as what you have to offer as far as talent, just everything. But this art piece is, you know, the artist side of, you know, 314 day, and then in other cities they're doing the same thing too. So just keep being the blueprint and pushing the envelope.
So again, what's that website for folks that are listening and they think they might know an artist who would be interested in this? Yes,
please tell them to go to the STL.com and it'll be under 314 design and submit, and good luck.
314 Day co-founder Dip Evans, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you, Megan.
Well, coming up next on Total Information AM, you've probably heard a lot of the audio clips from the hearing yesterday in the Senate with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We're going to talk with CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian in Washington, D.C. about that hearing and whether anything was really accomplished there. And then coming up at 8:31, make sure you stay with us. LendingTree has done a pretty interesting study. Apparently, about a third of Americans, including parents of young kids, have had a friendship end over money. LendingTree's chief consumer finance analyst, Matt Schultz, again, joining us at 8:31 this morning. It's now 8:19. Let's get an update on the roads for you. As Roger mentioned last time, we've had a couple of problems pop up. Let's get the latest. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and I'm still looking at the one, Megan. They've got it mostly over to the shoulder, but the right lane's still blocked on eastbound 64. This traffic report's a service of Anderson Hospital. It's eastbound 64 about midway between Winghaven and Highway K. Traffic's jammed about midway between 364 and Winghaven on eastbound 64 right now. Now, that's the only jam on the interstates we have. We still have slow traffic north 270, Manchester up to 64. Northbound 55 looks good from Festus all the way into downtown. Downtown, we still look great across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. More of just a slowdown now. Southbound Route 3 midway down from 270 to West Pontoon Road, so that's in better shape for you as well. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it's going to be cloudy. A couple showers this afternoon, a high of 76. Cooler tonight with an overnight low of 54. And then tomorrow, sunny and pleasant with a high of 79. Right now, we have, looks like partly cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
Looking for a place to call home without all the maintenance? Check out the Towns of Linneman Park, new townhomes by Lombardo, located in St. Peters. These new construction townhomes are located on the south side of 364-94, east of Harvester Road, and offer floor plans featuring 2 to 3 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a loft, and 2-car attached garages. Community amenities include a clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, dog park, and walking trails. Tour our newly decorated display and fall in love with your new townhome. Visit lombardohomes.com for more information.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Wheeler. Struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain? Game Day Men's Health has you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more, all in a relaxed environment that's like being in the man cave. At Game Day, you get a free testosterone test and consultation all in just an hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with 3 area locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. U.S. House Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the hot seat in a 3-hour Senate hearing yesterday, answering questions about vaccines, COVID, and CDC firings.
We need bold, competent, creative new leadership at CDC. People able and willing to chart a new course.
With me now, CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian in Washington, D.C. Nicole, talk about the overall tone of this hearing, because it sounds like he faced some hard questions from both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, no, this was very fiery. The frustration was really palpable on all sides, not just from the lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans, but also from the secretary himself. You know, I was sitting not far from where he was testifying. At times, you know, he would wave his hand, kind of wag his finger at lawmakers as he pushed back against some of their accusations. So this was quite a contentious hearing.
Do you feel like we got any answers out of this?
Well, I think that's a question for lawmakers, and many of them would probably tell you no. So it remains to be seen if we will see more hearings involving the secretary. You know, I would note that one of the key senators in that room, Senator Bill Cassidy, he's a member of the Senate Finance Committee, which held the hearing, but he is also the chair of the Senate Help Committee, which oversees HHS and the CDC. He has been very clear that he wants to see more oversight, although yesterday when I asked him following the hearing if he plans to call the secretary back, he wouldn't say.
I'm wondering, too, you know, if even maybe they didn't get answers yesterday, does this amp up public pressure on RFK Jr.?
Well, I think that might have been the hope among Democrats, and I think that is why you saw them with some really pointed exchanges with the health secretary, you know, questioning some of his conflicting statements or what they felt were just simply bad policy on the part of the administration, and his views on vaccines, whether that is replacing a key vaccine advisory panel or restricting COVID shots. You know, those are all things that Democrats brought to the fore, but there were also some Republicans too who asked very pointed questions, among them Bill Cassidy, as I mentioned, but also Senator John Barrasso, who's a top Senate GOP leader and also a physician, just like Bill Cassidy. So, you know, he got it from all sides.
You mentioned more oversight. Is there any suggestion that his job is in jeopardy?
Well, it doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. I mean, he may be on thin ice with some lawmakers, but last night we did hear from President Trump, who said that, you know, A lot of people like him. He just has a different take. So the president seems to still have confidence in the secretary. We also saw Vice President J.D. Vance put out a tweet with some pretty colorful language, but he too defended the secretary and really chastised his former Senate colleagues, particularly Democrats, for how they conducted the hearing.
That is CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Kelley. And Nicole, thank you so much for your time.
You bet.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to talk about how money affects our friendships. It's now 8:26. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterrey. When I endorse a product or service on the radio, I take it very seriously and I do my research. I did that when I first met Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty more than 5 years ago. Gloria is here in studio today. So Gloria, I'll ask the same question I asked you when we first met. What sets you apart from other local agents?
Well, number one is my guaranteed offers. I'm so confident that I'll sell your home at 100% of market value or I'll pay the difference. Number two is I already have the buyers, so your home may already be sold. I literally have thousands of buyers in my Buyers in Waiting program. This is how I'm able to create higher demand, more offers, and that means more money in your pocket.
Get to know Gloria Liu like I have. Upfront written guarantees with the least hassle. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. I've worked with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano for more than 30 years. Their guidance and assistance with my estate planning and legal documents gives me the peace of mind that I have the retirement I've worked for and always dreamed of. And I'm playing it fully with my grandchildren, volunteering, and traveling worldwide. I play confidently knowing my estate is secured in any event. You can get your estate secured with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano too. Visit their website, yourestatemasters.com, and download their free webinar on how to get started. Then make a free appointment. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatemasters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be made solely on advertising.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and get the latest on the roads. Here's Roger Brand.
Well, making this traffic report to service of Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, that's the place we have the biggest trouble, obviously. Eastbound 64, that crash still has the right lane closed. About midway between Winghaven and K, it's a solid jam midway between 364 and Winghaven on eastbound 64. And there's a little trouble westbound 64 now as well. It looks like a stall in the left lane west of Grand before you get to Boyle, so traffic's backed up at Grand on westbound 64, and then it's still a little heavy coming through Big Bend toward Hanley, where we had an earlier stall. That one, though, was on the shoulder. North 270, just a little off the pace, right through Manchester. A minor crash reported eastbound 70 at Jennings Station. It's on the shoulder. I'm not seeing any issues coming through there. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From now on, if you sprang a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelley Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelley will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelley.com.
Cloudy skies today. Showers possible this afternoon with a high of 76. Cooler tonight, an overnight low of 54. Right now, clouds 64 degrees in downtown St. Louis. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and money may be ruining our friendships. I wanted to learn more about this latest research that discovered that about a third of Americans, including nearly 1 in 2 parents of kids under 18, have had a friendship end over money. With me now, Lending Tree Chief Consumer Finance Analyst, Matt Schultz. Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So in this survey of roughly 2,000 people, how did they say that money is affecting their friendships?
Well, about a third say that they've had a friendship end because of money, and even a higher number say that they've had tensions with friends over money. So it's everything from lending money and not getting it back to feeling pressure to keep up with friends' spending habits, all the way down to lying about your financial situation or feeling judged about it. So money and friendship is certainly a volatile mix.
I have to wonder if this is going to get worse, because just going out to dinner, for example, is a pretty expensive proposition these days. And I was really amazed at the number of Americans who say they just don't go out because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think as things get a little more expensive, it only ramps up the tensions. And what we found is that almost 70% of Americans say that they've turned down some sort of social outing because it was too expensive. And about 3/4 of parents with young kids said the same. And so it's completely understandable that people would do that, but it can be difficult to open up to the people about exactly why you're doing it.
Well, and that leads to the next question that was asked about whether people are honest or comfortable discussing finances with friends, and there are a considerable number who are not.
Yeah, we found that about 60% of people say that they're generally comfortable discussing their money with their friends, but they may not be entirely telling the truth in that, because about a third say that they admit lying to their friends about being in a better financial situation than they are. It's a big number, and it's also easy to understand because there's certainly shame that people feel because of debt and not being able to keep up with the Joneses and that sort of thing. And people shouldn't feel that shame, but it's just a fact that so many people do.
I'm kind of amazed at the number of people who actually have lent money to a friend, according to your survey. How often, though, did it backfire?
Yeah, we found that almost 80% of Americans say that they have loaned money to a friend, and I was surprised of that too. It's a big number, but yeah, it certainly doesn't always work. We found that about a third of those say that they didn't get that money back, and about 19% said that it had a negative impact on their friendship. And that 19% number is actually a little bit lower than I would have expected it to be, especially given that the 32% didn't get their money back. So it shows that while it's certainly creating tensions, there's also some people who are just kind of letting it roll off their back.
Well, this has to be pretty relatable for our listeners. Matt, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
That is Lending Tree Chief Consumer Finance Analyst Matt Schultz on Total Information AM.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
8:36, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. President Trump intends to impose fairly substantial tariffs on computer chips. The president hosted a White House dinner for top executives from major technology companies. Many of the CEOs talked about their investments in the country. The president told the reporters he'd have more to say about tariffs on imported semiconductors very shortly. Warner Brothers Discovery is suing an AI startup alleging theft of its intellectual property. The company says Midjourney allowed customers to generate images and videos of characters like Wonder Woman and Superman without permission. Midjourney offers a subscription service that lets customers create images and clips using AI. The company is based in San Francisco. Rivian Automotive trimmed its workforce as it prepares to launch a more affordable electric vehicle. The EV maker says it cut less than 1.5% of its employees. As of last year, Rivian had about 15,000 workers. Production of the R2 SUV, priced at about $45,000, is expected to begin next year. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman, Genesis of St. Charles, the #1 Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri for 2025. Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Must be within 125 miles. That means complimentary pickup and delivery plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. They make it so easy for you. Schedule it all easily online with Genesis of St. Charles at genesisofstcharles.com. Go visit them. You can buy online and let them deliver for you, or you can go see them at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, luxury service at a state-of-the-art facility that's in St. Peter's off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership is Genesis of St. Charles, online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Cloudy skies, 64 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Rates going up for Spire customers by roughly 10%. As a union worker strike reaches the 1-month mark, St. Louis aerospace maker Boeing says it's hiring permanent replacement manufacturing workers, and Republican lawmakers pressed ahead with plans to redraw Missouri congressional districts in the face of testimony against changes in representation. Hancock and Kelley next. First, though, a check of the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they cleared trouble on eastbound 64. That's good news. This traffic reports the service of Saks Financial. All lanes are open eastbound 64 before you get to Highway K. Traffic is still jammed, though, east of 364, most of the way into K on eastbound 64. Hopefully it'll thin out pretty quickly. They're still working with a stall in the left lane. Westbound 64 west of Grand. Traffic is jammed at Grand. Just cleared a crash of the shoulder. Eastbound 7 east of Bermuda doesn't look bad there. There's a little bit of a road work delay. Some slow traffic westbound 5570 approaching 111 headed to 203. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Did you
Yeah.
Did you get here early this morning?
I did.
There was not much traffic
I beat
out,
you.
was it?
There's a little bit of traffic coming down Highway 40 there. It was now called, I guess, I-64.
I was coming down Olive, and there was a young lady next to me that I think was doing her entire work preparation with hair and makeup. She had the hairspray, and she was doing it all while we were driving there. It was pretty impressive.
Huh.
Did you ever have hair product as a youngster?
I did, buddy. I used the hairspray back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah, you had to, had to keep that stuff where it's supposed to be.
Did you ever do the comb over? So therefore, like the Donald Trump, where you were swooping it around? And
I did a little bit of
swoop,
but it was more the hair dye. So I would take my every 6-week pilgrimage to Studio Bronca.
Really?
And Gail or whatever her name was over there, she would
dye your hair,
work me up some of that brown right there. And
How long did you dye your hair?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
And then I was told
that you look silly,
that gray hair is distinguished.
It is.
And at that point I had hair. And so I let her go, buddy.
Good for you.
Yeah. And then I did the close crop. So this was about 15 years ago that I went with the look that I now sport. Very much looking like a cue ball.
Yeah.
And I'll be stroking that cue ball later today with you, Michael.
My gray hair started when I was in high school. No lie.
Yeah.
Big streaks of gray hair. And
I remember the miserable hair in the drain in the shower for years.
It came out of your head?
Right there. I mean, you just line
That's got to be depressing.
There it goes.
Pretty depressing.
Yeah, well, it didn't bother me.
Yeah, you don't think the dye was contributing to it falling out?
I don't know. But I had that kind of what they call salt and pepper look there for a while.
Right.
And now I got the salt and pepper in my eyebrows.
Yeah.
Which is not a good look.
No, it's starting on mine as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we're talking about stuff related to our health and vanity. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert Kennedy,
not a popular guy, Robert Kennedy,
testified up in front of the United States Senate. He was attacked by both sides. Of course, Florida's ending its mandatory vaccine process. And a lot of the Republicans, conservative Republican senators, were going after Secretary Kennedy, saying, "Hey, you've lied to us, and now you're making us unhealthy." Are you watching this meltdown that's taking place?
Of course they all voted for him.
Well, of course,
and he's not going anywhere. The president, he has the president's confidence, and he's doing what he's doing. And I'm sympathetic to RFK on a lot of the food dye stuff. I mean, I think on some of the on that side of the table, I think he's got some excellent points. And much of Europe has already banned a lot of the things he's talking about banning.
Right.
But on the vaccination side of the thing, I mean, it's he's wacky.
Yeah.
And if you look at, so the government shouldn't be able to force you to be vaccinated, but if you've got kids going to school, it's entirely reasonable for a school district to say, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to school here.
Well, isn't the school district the government?
The parents have other options there. They can homeschool their kids, and you know what I mean?
Well, is it the school the government? I mean, what's the difference between the federal government or the state government telling you need to be vaccinated and, a school?
Because you have a choice at that point. You don't have to be vaccinated, but if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to that school.
Here, yeah.
But there are other places you can go. Back during COVID, I remember there were these employers out there that, as a condition of employment, you had to be vaccinated, and that's getting a little closer to government mandating.
Well, but that's also saying, hey, we're not going to let you in our facilities unless you're
Right.
You can go work somewhere else. What's the difference?
Right.
I don't know. I think we're going down a slippery slope. And what's crazy to me is the issue that when I was a kid was the hippies, right? They were the ones, the peace and love folks who were out telling you, man, they're trying to kill us with the vaccines. They're doing
it was
to
definitely
us.
a left-wing conspiracy.
And
yes.
now it's become this right-wing conspiracy. The very people that pushed the idea of vaccinations and helped eradicate.
I would contend, if you look at the history of Robert F. Kennedy, he is a liberal. I mean, he was a strident environmentalist. He's a strident anti-vaccine guy. He was a left-wing conspiracist for his entire adult life. And now he's part of the Trump administration, but he's still at heart, Robert F. Kennedy is a leftist.
Yeah, but when did the hippie movement become the John Birch movement?
Right. Well, so when you get to the radical ideological fringes, you both end up in the same place, and it's totalitarian, it's authoritarian, and you get there on the left and you get there on the right, and they both end up. It's like a big circle, and they both end up touching each other.
Well, and then there's just the falsehoods, and I know I'm jumping topics right now, but what I find to be interesting is President Trump on his Truth Social right now is going nuts over this Maldani guy that may be eventually mayor of New York, more than likely, saying, hey, we've got to deal something. This guy's a communist. He wants to have state-run grocery stores.
Right.
And I'm sitting there scratching my head. And the story before that, where it's talking about President Trump is federalizing Intel and taking ownership in companies.
10%.
So one person's communism to feed pokes is bad. One person's communism to take over companies are good. I don't know. Seems to me that I grew up when communism was just supposed to be bad.
Well, and it's socialism. When the government has the means of production, and I'm not a fan of the government owning 10% of a U.S. company. I mean, that's flies in the face of everything conservatives have ever believed or thought. It certainly flies in the face of a free market economy, and it's inexplicable to me that Republicans could look at something like that and think it's okay. If Joe Biden took over 10% of some company, I guarantee it wouldn't be okay.
Right.
And, so there needs to be some consistency out there. And I feel like our elected officials in this country have not been very consistent. And as it relates to dealing with this administration.
Isn't that going to be a nice segue? We're going to step away and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the most bipartisan issue that has happened in this country, I think, ever. I mean, it's at least in the last 10, 15 years, you're not going to believe it. Something bipartisan.
You won't want to miss this, folks.
Country.
Kelley's got a thought.
Yeah. After this, KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-506-3355. 800-506-3355. 800-506-3355.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are visiting with Dr. Premal Thacker.
And we're very fortunate at Washington University School of Medicine and Siteman to have the only endometrial cancer spore. So we are actually doing a $15 million grant that is housed here under Dr. Much to actually evaluate uterine cancer.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, please visit siteman.wustl.edu.
It's back, and you're invited to join us in Forest Park, September 19th and 20th, for the 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to New Ground International and Blue Moon Brewing Company. The 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend. For more details, visit the events page at KMOX.com.
Well, I know you're sitting on the edge of your seat over there, John, trying to wonder what has been bipartisan in this country.
Hope I don't fall off.
We can't get along on too much, right? The Democrats say it's Monday. The Republicans say it's Tuesday. It seems like if one team runs that way, the other one runs the other way. Interesting, though, throughout the country in both red and blue states, something has been passing unanimously. Everybody is behind it. It's something that we found compromised. Do you know what it is?
Do tell.
Banning of cell phones in schools.
Well, there you go.
And we're seeing legislatures in the reddest of states like Missouri and the bluest of states like New York all taking this same effort. What has worked there that we can all finally say to each other, there's no conspiracies here, there's nothing wacky, this is what's best for our kids? Is it because there's an acknowledgement that we all know what this phone's rotting our brains and doing to us?
I think that's right. And, if you did just a broad cross-section of the public and asked them if they thought social media was a net benefit or a net problem in society, I think the overwhelming majority would say a net problem. So you've got that. There is a consensus out there that kids shouldn't have access to a phone when they're supposed to be learning. And then you look at American academic performance next to the rest of the world, and we're lagging, particularly in the science and math areas. And so, I'm not surprised that there's a consensus to get the cell phones out of the classroom. And, was it going to make a big difference in terms of academic success? I doubt it. But, it's a no-brainer that if you're going to school and you're sitting in class, you shouldn't be on your phone.
Well, and it was the experience that we had, right? I've lived probably equally half of my life without a phone and half of my life with a phone that comes with me.
Yeah.
So you can look back fondly at some of those times that you didn't have phones and some of the responsibilities and things you didn't have to do with. But I almost have a weekly acknowledgement in my own head of, wow, I'm obsessed with this thing, or I'm addicted to it, whether it be the phantom ring or the, oh my gosh, I've got to call this person right away about something that's, innocuous, doesn't need to be dealt with.
I'm old enough to remember when the cell phone actually was a phone.
Right.
And now this thing, it does everything except, I never had more than one bar.
Yeah.
And I get it at my
if
house.
You're on Highway 40, you're host.
At my house. I'm at my house.
Yeah.
I got one bar, and people, this is my work phone.
Right.
And I'm talking to somebody, and they're gone.
Sometimes you have to go to different parts of your backyard. You'll be like, hold on, I'm going.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Isn't it amazing? You can literally program your DVR.
Yeah.
You can pay American Express.
Yeah.
But when you want to talk on your phone, there's a good chance that part
and
may
it's
not work.
aggravating, the worst spot in my entire house for the phone is my office.
Yeah.
So if I get a call, I'm sitting there working and I get a call, I got to get up out of my office and go outside, wander around. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's a bait and switch. They tell you they're selling you a phone. Hey, speaking of bait and switch, John, the next 2 weeks are going to be obsessed with what goes on down in Jefferson City. It's going to be a part of the national narrative, the redrawing of the lines, throwing Emmanuel Cleaver out. I'm disappointed in Mike Kehoe. This is a guy who kind of ran and said, look, I'm going to care about the urban areas. I'm going to care about the things that make this state great. I'm an independent thinking guy, and the second Donald Trump puts out a tweet, he healed like a little puppy and folded. Make the case as to why Mike Kehoe's doing the right thing.
Well, I mean, the president says they want you to do this. The president is popular, and the president is particularly popular among the Republican electorate. And I don't know that politically is much of a choice here for the governor. I mean, this is what the president wants, and it's doable. It's something that can be done. They're going to do it. Missouri's going to redraw the lines. Now, I think as a matter of precedent, it's a terrible precedent for a host of reasons. And I also think that the net benefit that Donald Trump believes he's going to accrue by doing all this redistricting is going to be a waste of time ultimately, because the average midterm loss for the incumbent party when you control the House, Senate, and the White House is 25 seats. That's the average.
Yeah.
And there's no way they're going to redraw 25 districts across the country net for Republicans. So ultimately, I think it's going to be a fool's errand and set a very bad precedent. Most of the states in this country have the same party controlling the governors, the state house, and the state senate. Any of those states at any point can decide to redraw their congressional lines now. And I just don't think that's helpful.
Yeah, and poor Kansas City, not somebody I usually stick up for, but you're going to essentially have three people representing you that really have no understanding of the area and don't need your votes.
Well, they're going to have to learn quick.
And don't need their votes to win. So will they get any attention? How would we take it if St. Louis had one congressman divided over five people?
I don't know, but I know that Chris and Amy are coming up right here on the Voice of St. Louis Cable X.
It's Friday, so we'll ask Hancock and Kelley how they would spend the Powerball winnings. Plus, our no prize football pick'em is back with Tom Lawless, former Cardinal infielder. And our question of the week, is it insane to drive in silence? It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.